This podcast contains some magical adult language. Listener discretion is advised. And sorry, Mom.
Mickey Mouse, you're a rat.
Rats, man. Besides, they're tourists. What do they know?
Ooh, welcome to Rat Castle, a progressive chat about theme park magic without the pixie dust. I am your host, Nathan Hartman, and with me today are my lovely rat family as we ring in the new year. We have with us Father Time himself, Dave Cobb. Hello, Dave Cobb.
Wow.
What?
I don't
Shots
know,
fired.
I mean, you got the beard. It's
True.
it's-
That's true.
Compared to me,
That's true.
I'm New Year's baby over here. I just a little stubble.
New Year's baby is wild.
Well, not a New Year's baby, but a couple New
Hey,
Year's
don't kink
babes.
shame.
Couple New Year's babes with us though, including Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
And Janine. Hello.
Hello.
Victoria is ill. We wish her the best. She is going to be out next episode too, I believe, because she's going to be in Orlando. So she's going to do a little location report for us when she gets back, which is great. Let's see here. I kind of thought this was going to be an episode where we need to get a guest or do something fun because, it's usually low season on news. And then like everything exploded pretty much right after we did our
say
last
this every
one.
time.
We
Yeah.
kind of do. But I assumed nobody would be doing anything. But lo and behold, we're here. I do want to start with something, though. New Year's resolutions have been something that I have no New Year's resolutions. I don't really believe in them because it's the best way to fail is to set yourself up for it. And speaking of
they're
that,
for suckers.
yeah. Sarah, though, has a New Year's resolution. What's your New Year's
Oh.
resolution you told me over text recently?
Okay, well, my New Year's resolution is to not date for 2024. I am going manless. It is official. I am not dating anybody for the next year.
So there you
Because
go.
you men are psychos. Bunch of psychopaths.
This is after we put the word out last episode for people to
But with an asterisk. Hold on, let me put a PS. Unless
This
you are hot as fuck or have a ton of money, I am off the market. I am unavailable.
Those are
No, I
really
wanna-
that's really good gatekeeping right there. Those
Yeah.
are good rules.
Yeah, definitely. You
I was
definitely
giving
won't.
a bunch of y'all chances. It was no more.
I will read the
Sorry.
quote here from the text, which is actually, I swore off dating medium ugly guys.
Yeah.
If a fine ass man asks me out, then of course, but otherwise, no more dating.
Yep.
So-
girl.
No
Yep.
more medium ugly guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no more medium uglies. Sorry about it.
Girl.
She don't
Yeah.
need you.
But like you said, it's set. It's like if we put out a New Year's resolution, maybe it'll fail. So hopefully,
Hopefully.
it kind of,
Well,
Love
what
in the
about
air.
like
reverse psycho here.
New Year's
Mhm.
resolutions? Like I'm gonna pet 50 cats, or like
Low stakes.
I
Low
can't-
stakes resolutions.
stakes.
I can't
Okay.
do those things. I can't because then I have to keep
I can't.
track. My OCD kicks in,
Yeah.
and then like I have to.
To
I'll
be
end
fair,
up in
I
October
Will
sweating because I
forget
need to
them by
find
the next day.
more cats. Oh well, then what's the point?
Yeah, I feel like it'll give me more
Well, other
anxiety because I'm like, oh,
people-
I didn't do it.
Other people do. I recently saw someone discussing having like low stakes
Hmm.
resolutions that are just like fun things.
I think
And
I
was
have
like,
mental
get
health
that.
problems though, because like the idea of like saying, this is my anxiety because it's like if I were to be like, I'm going to chill out more this year, like then like by February, I'm going to be like, you fucking idiot. Why can't you chill out more? You said you were going to chill out more.
Oh, I have one. I have one. I'm gonna try to go to a cafe once a week and do something creative.
Okay.
That's gonna be. I
Once
feel
a
like that's
week
low
is
stakes.
pretty high.
Is it
Oh,
really for a
Yeah,
cafe?
I think. Well, okay.
Make the being creative part very simple for yourself. is
Yeah,
what-
yeah,
like,
yeah.
That can be
Yeah.
doing a crossword.
Have a good.
No,
thought.
yeah, like something like some little
Yeah.
hobbies, little activities. Like not, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna be writing a movie out here, y'all.
Yeah.
But-
yeah.
That's what everyone else is
That
doing.
one
so don't worry about it.
terrifies me.
Yeah, no.
I
no.
could not. I could not. There would be no chance in
No.
hell on that one for
Mm-mm.
me.
When's the last time?
Yeah, I had a stack of them last year and year before, and they were like, I was going to try to meditate every day,
Oh,
and Jason gave
that's
me
the worst
ukulele, and I was going to do ukulele lessons online. And
I look at
I
my
literally
ukulele in
lined
the
up like
corner.
5, and I'm
Oh,
like, and I put them in my calendar and everything, and within 2
Oh.
months, it's like I can't. I know it was terrible.
Congrats, you
And
gave
I've
yourself a
always thought
job.
they were for suckers. Yeah, right.
You really
Congrats.
did.
You have a 40-hour work week for yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's tough. You're hitting me
Yeah.
in my sweet spot too, because I have a ukulele just sitting here, and
Yes, me too.
okay,
Okay, this is our next project. Not a resolution,
we'll duet a ukulele.
but a duet.
Yeah.
We're gonna duet, and we will specialize in theme park songs.
Okay, I was gonna say we should do the ukulele song from The Jerk, but that that's,
Oh, that works. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
you belong to me.
old guy songs. Yeah.
Oh
old guy
yeah,
songs.
that's all I was playing on my ukulele was old guy songs. I have a
I
friend,
feel like
and
those
I
are the
found
only ones you can play.
out.
Sorry, was that
I
shade?
know, no, I agree. And I have no issue with that.
No, yeah.
Because
yeah.
all I listen to is old guy music.
Which is
So,
great.
yeah, I'm out here, singing all the bawdy songs from the 20s. So that's what it's for.
I
But my
have
friend has
the
a
record
band.
collection for you then.
Yeah, my friend has a banjo ukulele, and those are pretty fun. I started playing it. It's stringed just like a ukulele, but it's a banjo, and it has a nice little sound to it.
How many
So maybe-
banjos? Look, or not how many banjos? How many strings are on a regular banjo?
Oh, it's a ton, right?
A lot.
Is it really?
A
Yeah,
lot. Yeah.
yeah,
The reason I took up the reason Jason got me ukulele is I have this acoustic guitar sitting around that a friend of mine gave me, and I've never learned it. I play piano. I took piano lessons for years, but I don't play any other instrument, and I've always wanted to pick it up. And a friend of mine who actually teaches music said, "Do
Oh.
ukulele first."
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
and he's like, it's less strings, it's a little simpler. You'll get used to the pain you have to put your fingers through.
Yeah,
And,
I feel that pain, and
you
then I
know.
quit for a month. So
Yeah, it's
that's all-
hard.
it hurts a lot, and it's not
It
very fun.
hurts. Like you have
Yeah.
to build up. Yeah, you have to build up. What do you call it?
Calluses.
Where you toughen your-
Calluses, yeah.
calluses. Thank you.
Well,
If
even
you
just how
do-
the,
yeah,
the
and-
hand stretch, but
Yeah, the stretching your fingers is hard.
Though, I've been
so-
giving plasma a little bit recently for a little extra money on the side, and maybe I've really worked up that hand motion now because you have to squeeze to do it. So maybe my left hand's like ready to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
now.
There you go.
Does it hurt when you give plasma, or is it just
Uh,
like giving blood?
It's just like giving blood, but they pay you for it.
Oh.
So
Oh, maybe I need
yeah.
to do that.
it's good. It's good. I don't, some people look down on it. It's like a thing you do if you're like, I don't know, poor or don't have a job
Oh,
or
that's
something.
stupid.
And it's like,
No, it's not.
Yeah.
literally, I'm making a thing that can make me money on the side. I'll just
Yeah.
have the time. So take it.
Can't do it if you're gay, though.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's so stupid.
It's true.
It's so dumb. It's
Yeah.
so dumb.
Yeah.
It is.
Crazy.
Yeah. Every time the question thing comes up and it says, have you had anal intercourse with a man? I always say, no, honey. No. Hasn't happened. No,
Like,
honey.
unfortunately.
No, I'm fine. I don't need that. I'm good. There's no unfortunately.
No, unfortunately. I mean, you never know. If the opportunity presented itself, why not?
They used to say no homo, to show that you're straight. I don't believe in that. But I'll say pro
Yeah, no,
homo.
no.
I just pro homo.
Pro homo.
Pro homo, but pro homo.
But
Okay.
all the heterosexual guys are getting into pegging. You hear it all over the place.
Well,
They're
it is
having
the
their girlfriends
male
They
peg
are.
clitoris. Like it's the
True.
G spot for the mitten.
It is.
So
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
This went so I don't even know where it went.
Rat Castle After
Rat-
Dark.
Yeah, we really
I
went for it.
We
It's,
really
it's
did.
the end of the.
That,
We're
that
drunk on
disclaimer
New
is there
Year's
for a
Eve.
reason. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
I am drinking a beer, so that's
Yeah,
kinda
that's gonna help with
Wow.
that. That's for sure.
It is.
And to think I was worried about saying earlier, I was going to joke that the reason sorry you're not dating anymore is because Santa brought a vibrator, but Dave blew that out of the water.
Damn, I wish. But
Oh, I have your address now.
girl, send it my way. Send it my way. It's looking like a
Merry
dry year, y'all. Ugh.
Oh, it ain't gonna be dry.
there's this brand called Loveents.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a weird name, but they're internet connected. So once
They're good.
you're like with somebody, you can wear it all the time, and they can like buzz you on their phone.
Yeah.
Wait. I don't know if I want to expose. I've done that one time, and it was.
Yeah.
It was a mess. It was like in public. It
You
was
gotta
a-
rephrase
Literally
that.
and figuratively.
Yeah.
literally and figuratively. Very
Yeah,
much so,
this
man.
is not what I came into a hot topic for.
But we
This isn't the vibe. I mean, theoretically it is.
that
Yeah, it is. It is.
all right, y'all.
Totally.
We gotta move on. We gotta
Welcome
move
to
on.
Applebee's. Thank you. All right, so
Sploosh Mountain, you guys.
Sploosh Mountain.
Sploosh Mountain.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord, where is it? Where is it? Hold on, I can't not play it now. There we go.
Oh,
Oh man. There you go. There you go.
man, I should call him. Anyways, just kidding. Just kidding.
He's on his way.
I should not. I should not, y'all.
Oh. Anyway, I'm so thrown off now. I don't
Me
know.
too. I am. You remember how I said it was cold? It is hot in here.
Hot.
Hot. It is
Girl in
hot.
here's like, did I say that publicly?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
I
a. Hey,
did.
can you edit certain things out later?
Yeah,
Text?
I'd be like, oh, just kidding. Forget it.
Just kidding.
It's all right. It's all right.
Hey,
He
self
listens,
pleasure.
so you get-
Y'all,
just-
self pleasure is just fine. Don't
It
knock
is
it till you
fine.
try it. I once saw. This is a true story though. I was in a line at Target, and Target started to like they have like vibrators and stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're just there on the shelf.
Yeah.
They have them
Yeah.
Walmart and stuff.
Yeah.
And we were in line for Black Friday, and we had to go. They had it circling through the pharmaceutical stuff, and this lady she had the vapors like I had never seen, because she turned with her. She was next to her daughter, and all of a sudden there was just like vibrators and self strokes, and she's
you
all
used
like,
to have to go to Spencer's for that.
yeah, and
No, it's at the Target.
Kids, back in my day, I used to have to see dick hats at a Spencer's if I wanted to get anything to help my business. I had to pass
To
by a
wade
bunch
through
of
the South Park merch.
yeah. Had to say hi to Cartman before I had
It was there. Yeah.
before the internet too. And that was like the nicest option, and you just hoped to God your youth pastor didn't come in at the same time.
Why was the youth pastor? Why was he there?
Sarah, ding ding ding! All youth pastors are going to those areas because they
Maybe
freaky.
I need to get me a youth pastor.
No, you
Maybe
don't.
We need a. No.
I
think you're
Although
rush.
I
I was
No.
gonna say,
I
I
think
had
you're
huge-
too old.
I had
That
a
too.
huge crush on my youth pastor.
Yeah.
A huge crush on my youth pastor. He looked like Paul Rudd,
Ooh.
and
Ooh.
it was one of those sort of touchy-feely 80s churches. with
Yeah.
the laying of hands. My dad
Oh.
found Jesus for like 2 years, and so it
Yeah.
was Foursquare. So it was like speaking in tongues, laying in hands, the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole,
And my
wow.
the
youth
whole
pastor
shebang.
was the cool guy who like listened to secular music too, and like went
Yeah.
to art films and things. He was so cute.
Oh damn.
And so we went to art films together many times, and I just waited for that, for that pinky finger to graze mine on the seat next to me. It never happened.
Mm.
And then 10 years later, I'm long out of the church at that point. I run into him at a gay bar.
Yep. as one does.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
As
Oh, yeah.
one does.
That was a good night. That was a really good night.
Wait, did you like
Oh,
run
damn.
into him? Like run into him?
Oh, well, I ran into him and then
Oh.
slammed into him.
Oh.
And then
We have news at some point. I don't know when we're
We'll
gonna
get
get
to,
to it.
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
get to
It
Walt
was
Disney
great.
World
It was like-
on our Disney podcast.
Right?
this is a whole new podcast now.
Look,
It is.
look. If you look, welcome to the
second
Savage
year.
Nation.
Also, it's year 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're entering
y'all are
year.
comfy with us at this point.
We're entering year 3 of this podcast. I'm saying things publicly I probably wouldn't have said when I used to work at a small Christian institution.
Yeah.
But
we are moving in. We are leaning into the magical adult language, y'all.
yeah,
We are.
that's the point. That's the point. Yeah. Anyway, what are we doing? News.
News.
I am getting a little sweaty here. This has been
It's
an
warm,
erotic
huh?
episode. This
God
is
damn.
our most erotic episode of all time. Lord have mercy. Janine,
Yes.
things are happening at Hollywood Studios. Everyone's very excited because Voyage of the Little Mermaid is being replaced with what?
Voyage of the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, pretty much.
um, it's a Little Mermaid, a musical adventure. They brag that it's gonna have cutting edge effects, new design. I don't know what the buzz is about this. I never saw the original.
Never?
Really?
No.
Not once?
It was
We are
it was
not
one
show
of the most
people.
Oh, it's one of the most charming things at that park for a long time.
Really? Oh, well,
Yeah.
we
It
never
was
did
really
it.
puppetry wise. It was very, very interesting and
Oh.
fun.
It was a puppetry show, and it was a blacklight puppet show, and so there were really
Oh,
great
that
sort of,
sounds
they were the fish would
fun.
be blacked out on one side, but UV on the other, so they could go pop and like appear and stuff.
Oh,
It was
that's
really like,
cool.
yeah, it was
I
really
messed
cute. It
up.
was super lo-fi, but it was cute.
Oh,
Aw.
but lasers. There were tons of lasers.
The
in it,
laser
too.
effect at the beginning.
Are you kidding me?
Where
There
you
was
go-
lasers?
Yeah.
There were lasers.
Fuck.
There was they fogged up the theater like crazy, and so in the very beginning you go under the waves, and it's literally a wave of lasers over the audience, and it goes
Yeah.
blip, 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 up to the ceiling like you're going
Oh,
deep under the
man.
sea. Yeah, it was a great show. I mean,
Yeah.
that thing's been running since what, 89
No.
or 90?
Basically since the beginning. I believe it's an
Wow.
original.
Park
it's,
opened.
It's park open.
Oh
isn't
no,
it?
it's not. No, it's not. That theater was actually the end of the studio tour when the park first opened. It was called
Oh.
it was a preview theater that when
I
you
don't-
finished the tram ride.
They still
Eh.
have a preview theater.
Yeah.
Here's why I'm not so sure, and I'm not disagreeing with you here, but I remember listening to
Okay.
Richard WDW, and they were talking about the park had not yet opened, and they were walking through and just walking into
Okay,
buildings.
maybe I'm wrong.
And you could,
Yep.
they just opened a door and ended up in the middle of practice for the Little Mermaid show, and
All right.
I always thought that was
Then,
really funny.
listeners, correct me if I'm wrong. I
Um,
just remember. I don't remember. I went year one at that park, and I don't remember seeing that show. So
It opened January 7th, 1992.
90. Yeah, and the park opened in 89.
Right, but that was, I'm trying to remember. The park, the studio was open at what, at 87, 88?
87. 87 or
then-
88. The park opened in like 88, 89.
Okay, so maybe they were just
And the tram and what is now the Star Wars launch bay or whatever
Right,
it
was
is used
the
to be the
tram.
the loading for the tram thing, right? And you
where
do
was
the whole tram thing and the
where was
and special
animation?
effects. Animation was where it is still, I think, on the right of that courtyard.
Okay, it's the same courtyard. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
I think so. Yeah. I think
Man, my
so.
brain is. I'm gonna
I
look
think
up an
Dave
image
is
now.
right. I just pulled up a map
Opening map.
of, yeah, and it says soundstage.
They were probably just
Yeah, it was.
sneaking around because they were sneaks. Is my guess.
I remember it was like, the beginning of the tram tour was the whole Robin Williams thing, right? Like,
Yep.
or it was either the tram tour or was the walkthrough part. I don't remember, but it was the
Well,
Robin
there's-
Williams as a tourist, Walter Cronkite thing.
Well, that's the animation area.
That was animation. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think some of that, or at least the Eisner part of it, returned at the end in that preview theater where he would come back and say,
What is
and now here's some new stuff.
Hello.
Some new
Hi, Michael
stuff
Eisner.
coming from. Yeah, right.
I'm looking at the map because I'm curious now. Animation Courtyard.
Jim Henson's Here Come the Muppets.
Oh, there
Oh,
was before
yes.
that. That's right. That was the
Here
first
Comes the
thing.
Muppets were the creepy full body costume Muppets.
Yeah. They're not
Yeah, that was
bad.
the very
The only
first
one
thing
that's
in there.
really bad is
No, they were creepy.
the bunny. I forget his name.
Bean.
Bean.
Bean, yeah.
Wait, if you're not show people, do you not go to Muppet Vision?
We do Muppet Vision.
Okay, thank you. I
She
was
has to do
sweating.
Muppet Vision.
Yeah. Yeah, we do Muppet Vision. That's like a
I mark Muppet Vision in my historical timeline of theme parks as the first postmodern theme park attraction.
Oh hell yeah! I think you're
Because
absolutely correct
it-
by that.
because the animatronics are self-referential. Like at the
Yeah.
end when they say, "You want to go to the bathroom before the next show? We can't, you old fool. We're bolted to the seats."
Seats
It was the
best
first
anymore.
time Disney ever called animatronics. So
Interesting.
in my head canon, that's like the first time Disney sort of poked fun at themselves and
Yeah.
thus postmodern theme park attraction.
That's fun.
The Muppets are good for that, though.
I will
Yeah.
say this
Yeah,
about
right. It's the
Yeah,
perfect,
it's
for
perfect.
it.
Yeah.
Here's what I do remember of Here Come the Muppets, which I think is worth noting, even if you think the costumes are creepy. They enter. Some of them enter because they crash a monorail into the stage, which is kind of great.
Yes,
So
I
you know,
remember
there's
that. Yeah.
that. Anyway.
Oh, so yeah, the it'll have Kiss the Girl, Part of Your World, Poor Unfortunate Souls.
Are they like upping it for the movie or something? Is
It's
it gonna be-
not.
No,
it's
it's
from
based
the
on the
original.
no. It's
What's
based
the-
on the animation. It's not
I-
based on the live action.
I don't. That whole area of the park is so stupid and underused.
Yep.
Like I like Launch Bay, and I think Launch Bay served a purpose before you had, I don't know, an entire land dedicated. It's the same with Disneyland in the sense.
The fact that that courtyard and both the food there, the two big attractions, the fact that it isn't nuked to put in something large and e-tickety is mind-bogglingly dumb. Like I, for years that has been wasted space.
Yeah, because it's never crowded inside of Launch Bay, and you know, since COVID, Little Mermaid's been closed, and the Disney Junior shows down there, and that
People
gets
like
I
the
get
Disney
that.
Junior show.
Yeah, and I get that, but
yeah, sure.
it's so weird. I think this is such a stupid idea to bring back Little Mermaid. This is my issue with when they try to sort of sprinkle the same intellectual properties into multiple parks. Little Mermaid's a Magic Kingdom thing. It's got its own land there now. It's got its own thing. I don't get this idea of trying to inject. Maybe I'm completely wrong because I'm seeing it from a thematic standpoint and not a my kid likes a princess thing, which Studios doesn't have. Well, no, I'm lying. They have Frozen there. So what's the point?
Yeah. And well, again, it's because they did polling. They did guest polling.
Ugh.
And guests
don't know what they want.
They don't know what they want, and they will default on the safe and familiar at every question.
Yeah.
And so guest polling is the worst barometer of where to take a park, because it's all in how you phrase it, right? And if they had any question about it staying, they're going to respond to that. Did I ever tell you my story about guest polling for Back to the Future ride? Did I ever tell you about this?
No.
Okay, so we were programming the ride, and you know, and you board in the holding rooms, and then the motion bases would go up on a scissor lift into the dome and then back down at the end.
For those who don't know, it's the exact same setup as Simpsons. Just so if you've never been on Back to the Future, it's the exact same thing. Yeah.
And in The Simpsons, they painted them to look like doors at the beginning of the ride, right? In Back to the Future, they were just they look like a roll-up garage door. And there was an LN2 effect at the front of the vehicle for Back to the Future that's not there for Simpsons.
Right.
That was supposed to be like, you know, how the DeLorean comes in cold with the mist coming off it. They wanted it to feel like they were using it to cover the transition from in the garage to up, right? And so, and they wanted to make it feel like the garage door was rolling down and you're going straight out. So we did guest polling after the programming of the ride in the LN2, and this is pre-opening, polling people on the way out, asking them the question, when the ride started, where did your vehicle go? And about 5 or 10% of the people said up, meaning that their visual acuity and their inner ear was sharp enough that they weren't fooled by the gag. About 10 or 15% of people said forward, meaning, yay, the gag worked. The other 75%, they said Hill Valley, which is actually the answer you want.
They're not wrong.
Right. Where did your ride vehicle go? Hill Valley. And so I made the point that I'm like, guys, we're fine.
Yeah.
If that's the answer that they gave the right answer.
Yeah.
They're invested in it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, but I've done so much guest polling, and it's all in how the questions are asked. And if you let like park ops and marketing who don't want to change anything and don't want to spend any money, you let them do the polling, you're going to get the same old shit every time.
Yeah. Question 1, would you like Voyage of the Little Mermaid to return, or us to kill a puppy every day at Hollywood Studios? Gosh, I think I'll go with Voyage of the Little Mermaid then.
Yeah, fine. Whatever.
Let's move on over to California Adventure, where this is another example of, in my opinion, kind of a weird things in weird places sort of scenario. There's an interesting sort of a video has caught something interesting on Radiator Springs. I think the news is interesting, but I'm curious about your opinions of the news. So Janine, what exactly was found on Radiator Springs?
Yeah, so the story is some people were on Radiator Springs, and it broke down, or it paused for a minute, and people were sitting in one spot for 10 minutes, and someone was sitting next to a kid, and the kid pointed out that there was a little figurine of Aladdin sitting on a column in the distance of the Radiator Springs Curio Shop facade.
On the roof.
In the
ride.
In the ride. It's just a little Aladdin waving out to the crowd, and apparently
just a little action toy.
Yeah, apparently custodial staff likes to put stuff in hidden places. And
Someone got fired.
yeah, someone else
Most likely.
said like it's not just custodial. Other people like to do things like that too.
Yeah.
I think the discussion is like, okay, it's a fun little Easter egg to some, but other people would probably say it's not good show.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, I would
crosses
agree.
IPs.
I would agree.
I
would
think
agree.
Objectively, it's not good show.
it's
but is
objectively
it
not
fun?
good show, but does the
Yes.
fun outweigh? Because it's so small. It took them being
Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah,
for
I don't
10
think you would have
minutes in
seen
one
it.
spot.
Well, the
No,
lighting,
that kid has good eyes.
the lighting
Yeah.
was up too. By the way, like
Yeah, you wouldn't see it
you wouldn't
in
see it.
normal show mode.
And I agree with that. But I think in a time where we know about this, right? Right, in the 80s this shit was done, but no one had a phone to record it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
That's
it just was
exactly what
like,
I was
did you
thinking.
see that? I don't know. Like they wouldn't have time to figure it out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What's the balance here, Dave? Because I like when people get fun a little bit, and I like when Imagineers get fun and they'll just like switch the records out at Spaceship Earth with like I think it was they put in Mary Poppins when that movie was coming out, the sequel,
Yeah.
things like that. And I get
Yeah.
that's an Imagineer thing opposed to like a custodian just adding shit for no
Yeah.
reason. But what's the balance here?
I think mostly it's harmless. It's like you said, you're not going to see it.
I think it depends on the
And I think
execution.
there's a certain amount of operational staff, custodial staff, maintenance staff, camaraderie, and like
Mhm.
you know, you want it to. They all create their own sort of you know, family of
Yeah.
traditions within the ride.
I'll
I
leave
don't
it somewhere
think that's
you find
necessarily-
it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's fine. You know,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, it's not really bad show. It's just silly. Do you remember the Elvis, the Elvi that used to show up in Small World Holiday and in Haunted Mansion Holiday?
No.
If
I
you
don't
search
know
for
of
it,
this.
search Hidden Elvis Haunted Mansion, Hidden Elvis Small World, you see photos. There was a tree inside the Small World Holiday ride early on. I think it was in the London area, the UK area. And as the boat went by, on the back of the Christmas tree, shoved into the branches, there was just a picture of Elvis. And I saw it years ago. I'm like, what the F is that? And then there was another one in the attic. So whoever is doing the Christmas decorations, I don't think the story ever came out who was doing it, but that's a perfect example of like, it was done. I bet you maybe one of the people's name is Elvis, or there was a joke about Elvis or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they hid it in there for funsies. And I took pictures of it years ago. I think it's on my Flickr somewhere, or like 2008, 2005. It's been forever. Flickr. Yeah. Remember?
Yo.
Flickr is crazy.
I still have all my photos up there. All my like big photo albums are
If
there.
you Google my full legal name, the first thing that pops up is my Flickr from like 2007, 2008. And that is my internet legacy, which is mortifying.
Oh yeah, I have
There's a picture
all
with
of my
my
online.
period blood that I thought was like artistic.
What?
Woo! Spicy.
What an
Somehow
episode.
I've been employed full time, so
all
they
of
didn't
my
Google me,
all
I
of my
guess.
all of my digital photos from like early aughts or whenever Flickr started, maybe 2003, 2004 are on there. I have a funny story about that. I put a giant album of photos from Tokyo Disney Sea on my first visit, which was early aughts, I think 2003, 2004 maybe. And I used to get emails from friends at Imagineering who are like, we didn't document it this well. And online
cool.
photos were not a thing yet. And online videos were not a thing yet. And the theme park blogs were really small and they were, where did you store your digital photos pre-Flickr? Like, you know, if you had your own blog, you had to have hard drive space for it, right? So yeah, I had this huge thing of photos, and I was told multiple times that my pictures showed up in like presentations for internally at Walt Disney
cool.
Imagineering because I took so
That's
many
awesome.
photos. But it just was timing. Like nowadays, you can find whatever, you know, Google image search. But back in the day, when we used to do mood boards and things for attractions, and you used to use printed stuff, like we used to make printed mood boards. I'd go to a library and color copy like books and magazines and cut them out and spray glue them onto big sheets. You know, nowadays it's just you do a mood board digitally with Google Images, but back in the day it was hard to find reference for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. Huh. That's fun.
I'm old.
Janine, did you take a lot of pregnant lady photos on your Flickr?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
That's
This
how
must
I
be yours.
started my photography career.
Oh, I see.
Nice.
I was like, I don't know if this is hers, but then there was a picture of a bug. So I was like,
I
well,
remember photo
of course.
bucket,
I mean,
not
that clock.
Oh,
Flickr.
I had Photo Bucket too.
Yeah. I
Very
see no
funny.
period
Bucket.
blood though. If it makes you feel any better.
It's got to be on there.
No, I don't see it. I don't think it's here anymore.
They won't let me delete it because the email address that it's attached to doesn't exist.
Oh.
Oh,
There's some good old theme park history on mine. If people want to spelunk through there, there's some good stuff.
Do it.
is
Do
it,
it.
is it your full name, Dave?
Oh,
Yeah, it's just Dave Cobb.
you know
It's
what?
not hidden.
You know
I
what?
still post stuff to it.
I think
Alright.
that my oldest one, I actually got taken down.
Congrats. Congratulations.
Yes. That's what happened. So this
That
is the more
explains.
respectable budding photography career one,
I
which
was
is
gonna
fine.
say it's not too
Ooh,
bad.
there's some stuff from the Star Cruiser on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still actually use it because I hate sharing photos on Facebook because their album, like you
Oh,
can
it's
make a
terrible
photo
quality.
album on Facebook. I just discovered this today because I wanted to repost some stuff. You can't get a link for a Facebook album to reshare.
No.
Hmm.
It's ridiculous. Like, so I still actually use it because I've paid for it for years and it's like 100 some a year. It's nothing.
Mhm.
And it's high resolution photos of everything I've ever taken since, and it also backs up my phone. Like I know we have iCloud and all that, but I have it go to Flickr too, just in case.
Nice.
So it's like every picture I've ever taken since like 2003 is up on Flickr.
Y'all,
And
if you want
most
to
of
see
it's private.
if you want to see pictures of Dave Cobb with Will Smith, you can. They're on there.
That's on there. I posted those in 2000 because I dug them out for the anniversary.
Yeah. And a great you and Rip Torn look like you're gonna be in a
Rip
buddy
Torn.
comedy. Like
Isn't that great? That's such
there's
a great photo.
that's a great photo. You should frame that.
He's
That's
the best.
An amazing
He
photo.
had the mouth of a stevedore, that man.
That
he was
man.
exactly what you wanted.
Ah,
Dirty old
Rip
uncle.
Torn. Love Rip Torn. All right.
Great
so,
filthy jokes.
We love it. God. R.I.P. Rip Torn. All right. Let's move on. Sarah.
Yeah, so
Zootopia. It's opened.
Zootopia. So over at Shanghai Disneyland, we finally have Zootopia Land. It's officially opened. It opened up back on the 20th of December. So about a week. So it's been about a week since it's oh my gosh, why am I stuttering so hard? It's been about a
You're
week
still
since
so
it's
you're
opened.
just so flummoxed still. You're just
I am.
you're just
There's
like
so much
oh,
happening this episode,
Santa
dude.
baby. Whoa, I need
Dude.
to yeah.
We need to
going on?
calm down. Anyway, so the hot ticket attraction over there is Zootopia Hot Pursuit. So that's kind of like the main ride, but the entire land in general just like looks so
It's incredible.
it's incredible. There's so many little details. It's so vibrant. You could just like really tell that they put so much into it. There's like these
Yeah.
Zootopia Park apartments where the characters actually come out and they talk to you, or they're talking
Yeah.
to each other through their windows. So that's really cool. Obviously, you're gonna have Nick Wilde and Judy Hopps. They're there. The pictures from the nighttime, I feel like that's when it really, really shines. When you have it just seems so much more vibrant than it does in the daytime. There's a bunch of little, like I said, stores that kind of have like their own little spin on them. You kind of feel like you're actually stepping into the actual land. There's like doors of different sizes for the different types of animals that are there. And yeah, they also have, the cool food that you can find, like the popsicles or whatever.
Possicles, yeah.
Yeah. So I can't
The,
wait.
the details, the joke details are
Yeah.
so
So
good. The visual
There
details
is-
are so good.
yeah.
It's incredible. It's
We gotta-
absolutely incredible.
We gotta talk about two that I saw on the Hot Pursuit video. Well,
Mhm.
one's not a Easter egg at all, but one of them is I gotta remember what it says. Trader Rams for Trader Sam's,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
or Trader
good.
Lambs, I think is what it is.
I think Kevin Lively was a writer on this land too.
of course he was.
So that would make sense.
yeah.
Oh, so basically, because I don't think we talked about what the ride is. So Hot Pursuit, you're essentially rookie police officers at ZPD or Zootopia Police Department, and you're obviously in pursuit. And it's like on the day of Zootopia Day and the concert that's gonna be Gazelle, aka Shakira, who we stand. I don't know if y'all saw that statue that they put up of her. Did you guys see it?
Of Shakira?
Yeah,
No,
Not
there's
in
a statue
Zootopia
of
Land.
Shakira.
there's a statue.
I
of
like the
Shakira.
idea that
Where?
just the
Isn't
Where?
she in jail?
no.
Oh, no, she got out, y'all. Like
She-
she's out.
Wait,
She
wait,
was
she
in
was in
jail?
Shakira
She was in jail?
for taxes.
Oh,
girl.
so probably for like
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
minutes.
No, but it's okay. She's okay. She's been through a rough time. over the
21
past
foot
year.
bronze statue of Shakira
Yeah.
in her hometown in Colombia. Look at this.
Yes. Isn't it amazing?
Whoa.
Wow.
Somebody was like, when all civilization fails, people are going to worship her as a goddess. honestly, we already do. But
Yeah.
so you're gonna be seeing a bunch of different animatronics on the ride of all these different
Well,
characters.
this brings me back to the other thing I noticed on Hot Pursuit, which is a drag queen. There is a drag queen,
honest to God, drag queen
as I think it's Griselle, right? Is the name of the drag queen out front of like a drag club. It's
That's
like
awesome.
it threw me. I didn't know what I didn't know what the because of just listening to it on YouTube. Like I wasn't really sure what the animatronic was doing or if it was a statue because it kind of goes by real quick. But no, it's a drag queen voiced it, sung the song. So
wow.
it's a whole thing. Which can you just imagine the blood coming out of the ears of people in America right now if you tried to pull that at Disney Park? It's so much more free in Shanghai. It's just
that's something.
that's something.
That's a statement.
That's a statement. Anyway,
Yeah.
wild.
But they have really cool things that are just apparently, so at the apartments, guests can trigger responses from the residents by saying things like "hello" or "how are you doing today?" So that's kind of cool.
What is it with wolves and howling?
So it seems like a really awesome place. They put in a lot into this ride. We can't relate here in the US. But yeah, if you can visit, that's gonna be our thing next year. Victoria and I, hopefully, we're gonna visit all the other parks that we haven't.
That's crazy. Hey, I will make a New Year's resolution. I will have standby privileges. I probably need to go. I've never been to California Adventure. I probably should go. It just never happened. So
okay, come.
Dave and I
Okay.
have the same face right now.
I didn't mean to not. I didn't mean to not go.
think
We're
it's
gonna
crazy.
do an episode out here.
You got
That's
to
what we're
understand that there was a point where there was nothing at California Adventure that I hadn't done elsewhere.
doing. Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
I just waited until there was enough stuff. Now there is.
I love California Adventure. That's my
Yeah, it
park.
looks great. I mean, anyway, so that's my resolution. You're going to everywhere else. I'm just going to come see you. So
I'm seeing you. We're gonna do it. It's
get your
gonna be a thing.
couches ready. Dave, some industry expert opinion on this beautiful land.
I think it's gorgeous. I think the movie is such a pun fest and a visual joke fest, right?
It's nice when the
and
movie like sets you up to make a cool land as well.
Oh yeah, it absolutely. I mean,
That's
it lent
like
itself to
Avatar
it, right?
for me. Like
Yeah.
Avatar, I could not give a shit about that movie, but I love the land, and I think it's going to be the same thing where I actually don't like Zootopia, but I think I'm going to love the land just because it's so
honestly
fun.
a good movie. I think it's a great movie. The themes of
I
it
think
are
it's really
really
smart.
good.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
it's
think it's really
very
smart.
yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
care for it. I don't know.
All right,
It was
fair
all right.
enough.
It was all right. I just
Time for
Fair.
a rewatch.
But I think it totally lends itself to a land, and the visual details are gorgeous. I had friends who worked on it, and it's just spectacular. I think it's just one of those things where the theme of the movie and the placemaking of the movie, it's like they hit print on a 3D printer and it came to life.
And honestly, they
Radio Springs
probably kind of
Racers.
did in some areas.
Yeah.
You can do that
Right.
now.
Yeah, like Cars Land felt like that to me too. The minute I walked
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is exactly
That's
like the
another
movie.
example of I don't
Yeah, like I'm not a
love
huge
Cars,
fan, but it's
but I
great.
love Cars Land.
Yeah.
Right, and it's full of puns and it's full of visual details that are great. Yeah, so I can't wait to see it. I think it does lend itself to one of the U.S. parks. I think it would do really well here. I just can't figure out where.
Definitely.
Hollywood Studios.
I'm always
Fifth
gonna.
Gate.
I'm.
You don't think
you're not
Animal
wrong.
Kingdom? Did we have this discussion of having
We've-
it at Animal
we've
Kingdom,
talked
or
about
like were
it.
people
It's
kind of
It
against
should
it?
not be in
really-
there.
It's
I
not
know,
really
I know, but I
Animal
was just thinking
Kingdom.
animals. I know, I'm just thinking animals.
I know, and people are gonna. I know, and it is a debate. I don't know.
I think
it's
Hollywood
a-
Studios
I feel
would be good
icky.
too.
I feel icky putting it there.
I'm gonna
I can understand.
let
Yeah.
me pitch it this way, and I've said this, I'm sure, on this podcast before, which is fine, whatever. If you've listened that often, thank you for being dedicated. You could hear me rehash.
Yeah.
Let me pitch this to you, Dave. I know they'd have to move a lot of stuff that is sort of integral to veterinarian stuff, but I think that if you took the Harambe train and you assess
to
that
Zootopia.
to Zootopia, and you
Yeah,
you
works.
Hagrid, you
Right.
Hogwarts that train,
And
Yeah.
I think it works.
Yeah.
Because it's
I think
separate
that's not
enough.
a bad. That is a really good idea. The other, it doesn't really work at Hollywood Studios because they already have two very similar trackless rides, right, in the
Yeah.
same park.
Mm.
So, yeah,
And,
you know what?
And Animal Kingdom has none.
Has none. You
But then
sold me. I
aesthetically,
think
yeah,
if you separate it, I think there's a good
it
argument for
needs
it.
to be a really big separation because I do like I do see what you're talking about now, Dave. Like it just aesthetically speaking, this is a
It's a
city.
big jump. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really vibrant big city, and then you
Yeah.
have all the other areas that are in Animal Kingdom. It just wouldn't work.
The other problem
Yeah.
with Animal Kingdom is you can't rely on just the train at that point. You're going to have to make a path.
Yeah. And that, which is
Yeah.
fine. You
Yeah,
make the,
but
it's fine.
there's enough of a way of doing that, I think, that you can zigzag and utilize. But that would take a lot of moving of like their entire.
It would
like,
work in
if you've
Epcot.
watched. Yeah, just get.
I don't know where you
I
would
could
put
see
it.
Just,
I could see it in Epcot. I really can. Get rid of the American
Like,
Food Pavilion, to
like
be honest.
one of the
Just make it
one of the countries
make it one
in
of the
World
countries.
Showcase.
You could get rid of America, to be honest with you. Like, get rid of ain't nothing there.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna get hate mail for that.
yeah.
I know. Sorry.
You
And
literally-
from Nathan.
From
Yeah, yeah. I do absolutely
He's
love that
writing a
show.
letter right now.
He's literally I'm gonna get a long ass text later, y'all.
I don't know what to tell
Like,
you. It's
I don't I
American
even,
Adventure.
okay,
American Adventure is only one of the most innovative animatronic shows of all time. But
it
whatever.
can stay. It can stay. I think it can stay, but I think like it would work there. I could definitely see it working there.
Is that
I mean-
pavilion that like Body Wars used to be in still there that they
Wonders of
occasionally
Life.
use? Yes.
Yeah. Wonders
Well,
of
that's
Life
where
is still
Zootopia
there.
was supposed to go. There is supposed to be a Zootopia,
See?
like
Wait. Really?
inside of the Play Pavilion. There is supposed to be a Zootopia something,
Yeah.
attraction of some form.
Well,
Nobody
that was
seems to know.
That was the Play Pavilion, right?
Right.
That got canceled.
Right, and inside of the Play
which looked
Pavilion,
like Wreck-It Ralph, basically.
Yes, it looked like Wreck-It Ralph.
yeah. So the Play Pavilion was going to have Zootopia and Wreck-It Ralph, and that
Got it. Okay.
it seems like a real hot mess, that Play Pavilion, which is probably
Yeah,
why it didn't get made.
yeah.
But yeah, there was a thing like I'm trying to find what. Anyway, yeah. Well, we're already getting Zootopia at Animal Kingdom, so it doesn't matter because it's going to be in the tree of life. So
Oh, that's true.
yeah,
Yep.
can't double dip. So anyway, that is the land. I just wanted to, since it's officially open, I thought we would give our thoughts on it. I think it's gorgeous. Yeah, I wanted to.
Hallmarks.
I agree on another gate. This is the kind of, you know what, to be honest, this is the, hey, we'll talk more about Universal coming up, but like, hey, Disney, this is the kind of thing that you use as one of like 4 things in a young person's park.
In a new gate. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like in a tinier one.
Can
in like,
we talk
I don't
about that Duke Weaselton animatronic though?
we're gonna get there. So
Yeah.
let's do that next, and then we'll talk a little bit about the incident that occurred there.
Jeebus, that thing was cool.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
Janine, will you explain the animatronic real quick, and then we'll get into our thoughts?
Yeah. So the people cart out like, or no, Duke Weaselton carts out a cart.
Duke Weasel.
He gets
comes-
carted out.
To be fair,
Kicking
the
it, no,
cart
he's kicking
pushes.
it like a.
To be
No,
fair, the
he's
cart
like-
pushes Duke Weaselton, or pulls Duke Weaselton.
Yeah,
But yeah.
But he's
that's
pushing
fine.
it
But
out.
he's pushing
it.
it. It looks like he's like skateboarding, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he pulls on like a little cord, and it zoops him right up to the top, and he stands on top of the cart.
And he's talking to
And he's
Josh Duhamel.
talking, and it's a really, really lively animatronic.
Yeah.
And it's just, is this going to show up in the parks? What is
Yes.
this? Is this?
It's
it
already
is?
there.
It's
It's going
already
to be there. Well, it's going to be.
It's in Zootopia. It's going to make appearances.
That's
yeah.
so cool.
This is
They-
going to be like like they're going to have a fence, and it's going to come out and talk to the audience on the other side of the fence.
Fine.
That's
It
what
just
they'll
needs
do
to be
with
in the
it.
park because I'm so sick of them like making these amazing animatronics and displaying them on the stage and being like, look what
Yeah,
we can do.
like
but
Wall-E
you get
and,
none
you
of
know.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, they have done it, like Lucky the Dinosaur
Mhm.
and the Muppet Mobile Lab. Like they've done some things, but
Yeah.
this is I was gobsmacked.
It's
by how cool
crazy.
this was. It's so good. Then like it was cool enough with him like skating out, and the minute he pulls that thing and rises up, I literally gasped. I was like, "What the?"
Yeah.
I
So like,
kept
how
looking
does this
for.
work?
Well, I kept thinking that the box down below had a performer in it, that part of it was puppeteered because it was so smooth,
Mm,
and it
mm.
looked like human puppeteering to me. It didn't look like animatronics
It
at all.
really does.
It really does. And so I thought, well, maybe there's a performer in there, like hidden, but
But
no,
how?
it's all automated. I don't
Yeah.
know. Because he grabs it, there's something magnetic, because they've done that before too, right? With Mr. Potato Head in his ear, which they don't
Yeah.
do anymore. But so it's possible.
I think his feet are magnetic to
Yeah, for sure.
that you can kind of see them drift towards their mark. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's powering him as well. I don't know where the battery is on this goddamn thing.
Something
'cause
about
this
it
is-
is so creepy to me. Like I'm watching the video right now, kind of creeped out.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's just
Like
think
it's
it's so
awesome.
great.
I do
but-
love how it talks in Mandarin, and then it's like just tomorrow, and I just think I just always want to say Josh tomorrow that way now. Josh
Can I
tomorrow.
talk about something really quick that has bothered me?
Of course you
Yes.
may.
Frozen has the Duke of Weselton,
Yeah,
and then they bring out Duke.
that's the
Weaselton.
joke. That's the joke.
That's the joke.
It's the same
intentional,
actor.
right?
Yeah,
it's the same actor.
Oh yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same actor.
I didn't
yeah.
know that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad that I said that. That's really funny.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
I was
So-
just going crazy.
No.
So okay, it looks like he started talking as soon as Josh Tomorrow presses the little, what do you call that?
Boombox?
Yeah, boombox. So like he started talking like as soon as he pressed
Jesus.
it.
I don't know.
Well,
it's
his hands already on the cable, so that's a permanent connection, right?
Yeah.
okay. Is it? I can't.
Yeah,
I gotta
it
watch
is.
the video.
No,
again.
yeah, his hand is
is-
on the cable.
When
The
it
whole
starts.
time?
So he's tethered, right? So that's where he's getting power and everything is through
Yeah.
that
So that's
cable.
the actual cable. Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then
But then it seems
the
like he
body and the
stops.
leg, the body and the legs is basically stuntronics. It's yeeted Spider-Man, basically. It's right.
Yep.
It's the limbs and things. That's not hard.
No, it
Um,
doesn't need to do anything. It just needs a magnet.
No, it
on
doesn't
and-
really. It's just the head moves, and then I think the arm socket probably has a little bit of movement, or they're puppeteering it from the cable up above. I don't quite know.
I feel like the arm. Mhm.
The wheels of it moving in were more stymieing to me, like because they look like casters, and I'm
Yeah.
like, how are they turning it? I think there's a little step at the front of it, and I think the wheels there are actually controlled, whereas the
Mhm.
ones on the other side are just dumb.
Yeah.
Anyway, I literally watched this thing like the Zapruder film, like half an hour.
It's crazy. I can't like the articulation of the head. If this is, I think what people don't understand is be more impressed when you see a small animatronic than a large animatronic.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
like
if,
the left hand is probably magnetic because he holds onto the side of the thing.
yeah,
And
but
yeah.
it
If you look at the bottom of
moves.
his feet, they're metal. So that definitely speaks to that being. Yeah, I'm just blown
crazy.
away.
The way
yeah.
his leg is moving when he's like pedaling in is just like crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. So whoever did it, congrats. It's
Do you think
crazy.
this is a stupid thought, but is it possible there is a magnet that is running between the board and that's what moves his hand like back and forth towards the
I
the
don't think
board?
so.
I don't think so either. I'm just trying to find any. My brain is trying
No,
so
he's just
hard.
his arm there, his left arm that's gesturing is the same arm as in Frozen as Elsa, which is pencil thin. So
Oh.
they've gotten that down.
Wow,
right?
they
They've gotten
really have.
they've gotten the limbs down small. So the lineage of this to me is very much her plus Stuntronics. Just
Interesting.
Yeah,
scaled down.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. Huh. Yeah, I'm just looking for any reason to why this isn't just robot magic because it just seems too good. But I think it really is.
It's just
that
robot
good.
magic.
That's insane. That's so crazy. All right, some tragedy though has hit Zootopia Land. What's going on, Zara? What happened? Unlike what? Unlike Christmas Eve.
Yeah. So this is pretty intense, but there was a young guest who jumped out from the ride vehicle on Zootopia's Hot Pursuit because they thought that they had dropped their Mickey ears. And once they jumped out, they were unfortunately ran over by another ride vehicle. We don't really know the extent of the injuries that this kid basically got.
Because China, they'll never release that.
Yeah, they'll never report it, but and I don't so like I did go out and like look at like the incident and
Oh, you did? You
I'm
saw
looking
it.
at photos right now.
Yeah, I saw the photos.
I didn't.
She doesn't
The
look
ch-
dead. It looks like
she
lower
looks,
body
yeah,
injuries.
it does look like lower. It looks like one of her legs is caught under one of the ride vehicles.
She looks
Mhm.
about
So
4.
yeah, she seems pretty young, or yeah, she does seem pretty. She's a young child. Like Dave said, that we probably won't even hear nothing
We won't
about
see
it.
much at all.
Yeah.
The ride vehicles here have the lap bar like Runaway Railway.
I keep looking for vehicle photos to get an idea.
Yeah, I couldn't find
Um,
like anything on the inside. Well, actually, yeah, I could see in one of the photos it does look like the ones.
I would assume it's like
It's
Runaway Railway as well.
Yeah, it's the ones that come down. So it is kind of
Yep.
like Runaway.
Yep.
Well, no, Runaway Railway comes
No,
inwards.
it comes down.
It comes
So
for Runaway
it's-
Railway.
yeah, it's a big thick lap bar that goes across the
Yeah.
whole row. Unlike
Same kind.
Rise of the Resistance, which is a
Mhm.
seatbelt.
Seatbelts.
monitored
Yeah, this one
Because
is
of
not
the drop.
seatbelts.
Oh,
Because of the drop.
these are gonna be seatbelts soon. Tell you that.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is why they say to put your small children in the center of the
Yeah.
vehicle.
Yeah.
Because
But-
having been on
I
a
have-
ride with a small child, especially if you
Yeah.
have like a larger,
I
like
know.
your lap
Unfortunately-
causes like a 6-inch gap over the child where they're basically unrestrained.
I just don't.
This is
How are these still getting made this way? I like from a perspective of just the possibility of this happening. I would just assume at this point you put seatbelts on all of them. I know it's probably
well,
it's probably a
it's a
operational
load timing
Yeah.
operational issue. Yes. The thing is, it should also have sensors in the floor that detect any motion that's not a vehicle, and I'm surprised that didn't stop it, but because that has to be there. I mean, we had stuff for trackless where it's basically a laser sensor looking at the floor, and if anything crosses a path that isn't the vehicle, that it would stop everything, or pressure mats are another way to do it. But I mean, I'm of two minds, because the problem is accidents like this lead you to have the 100% encapsulation policy that Universal
Mhm.
does, which is why you have something like, a Secret Life of Pets that big parents can't fit on, because
Yeah.
they absolutely don't want anybody climbing out. And it's like, but we also have the Haunted Mansion that's been there since the 60s that does not have any sort of restraint. And just because this is trackless and moves a little faster doesn't mean it requires anything more than a lap bar. But I'm firmly in the camp of, you need to watch your damn kids.
Mhm.
And I understand that it's hard, but I hope the kid's okay. I hope they're not
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah, of course.
But-
It's not,
and
it's not
yes, there's-
really the kid's fault at that age.
They don't
No,
know.
not at all.
They don't
They don't
know.
know. It's the
Yeah.
parents' fault.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's
'Cause
absolutely the
I'm
parents' fault.
thinking of like the amount of time it took that child to wiggle out of that seat, because it's not like they immediately just like jumped out and like got their mini ears. Like it probably took a while for them to like wiggle out and then jump out and then go get them.
Yeah, it's not like the side of the vehicle is open.
Yeah, it's
Right.
not
So
like
they-
if you look at the
They
picture,
were
it kind
probably
of is,
standing up,
actually.
and the parents were letting
Actually-
them stand up.
Ooh, I don't know. It does look like it might be open.
no, from the pictures.
Oh no,
it's
it's totally
closed.
not. So
It's a closed vehicle.
they let their kid jump out is what happened. They let their kid jump out.
Yeah,
There's
it's got
no way
doors
that
on it.
kid's
Like,
getting out. Yeah, there's a door
Yeah.
that
well, hang
shuts.
on. It
The
is
last
not.
picture.
It is. I'm looking at the ride vehicle now. It is not the same as Runaway Railway.
No, the vehicle, the bar's the same, but the vehicle's
It
different.
is a
feel like-
bar.
The bar on Runaway Railway was like a lot thicker. This one doesn't seem as
Five.
to
We're
me.
talking
I
what?
can't find the photos of that.
We're talking 10
It's-
seats in this thing. This looks way more like the vehicle for Star Wars.
yeah.
But those are
it's
just
not the
4
same bar.
across, right? Those are just 4 across. Are they not?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to remember.
Okay, I'm watching a POV of the ride loading. Oh, they don't show it.
It's-
They don't show that
It's
part.
it's 4 seats across.
5, or is it 5?
4 or is it 5? I think
It's
no,
5
it's
on
5.
this
You're
ride.
right. It's 5.
This is fun audio for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. As we search through
I
things.
know.
As we
Anyway,
look through
I mean,
pictures.
that it's. I would be very surprised if there were not some sort of floor sensing. I would be
Yeah.
very surprised. If there's not, then shame on Disney for not doing it, especially in a place like China where there is a history of guests behaving badly on rides and in the park, more so than the States.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's not that surprising. I mean, it's a lot of it is culturally, you know, with the one child policy that they call them, it's the Little Prince syndrome, where the kids are allowed to do whatever they want because they're only allowed one kid. And so they treat the kid like they're a little prince, and they let them get away with whatever they want. So, and that's not a slam. That is, if look it up, this is a cultural issue that they have in China. And so,
it's like we all know one child or whatever, or like
the
way that they act, you'll know.
The doors do close, so this child
so they
stood
really
up,
had to climb up.
like they really had to climb out. I was wondering if maybe it was open and they were able to just like slip out to the side in an instant, you know, but no, they had to climb out.
No,
because it's not like, oh my mini ears jumping out, like, no, it wasn't like that. It must have been this like probably took a whole minute. And as a parent,
maybe not a whole minute, but like,
I'm saying like it took a while. So like for a parent, like you should immediately like jump into action and be like, I shouldn't be doing this.
I'm looking at the ride. I'm looking at the load station now. It is 5 across. The lap bar is pretty much the same as Runaway Railway. It might be a little thicker on Runaway Railway because Runaway Railway is also not 5 individual seats. I think they're wider. I think it can fit like
it's one big seat.
It's one big seat.
It's one big seat.
Yeah.
I mean, it is one big seat on this too. They're just molded to look like individual seats.
Yeah.
So here's
and it's such a tough call.
Here's what a witness says. I'm reading another article. This is from the dimsumdaily.hk. So I assume that is a Hong Kong publication. They are saying that according to an eyewitness shared social media, the girl, in her attempt to recover the dropped item, disembarked from the moving vehicle and was subsequently struck by another vehicle. Video circulated online capturing the moments leading up to the incident, with the young girl heard exclaiming about her lost hairband. So she said something about it. Shortly thereafter, onlookers questioned why the child had left and had urged her to return to the vehicle. So apparently, the let's see here. I just read something interesting. I'm trying to find it again. She ran after her mother's vehicle upon losing her hairband and was caught unawares by another turning car. So I don't know if she was in another vehicle and then ran to her mother's vehicle for a hairband that she had lost.
So like her and her mother were like separated
on different vehicles.
Yeah,
because the mother, it says the mother was like trapped, not trapped, but inside of her vehicle and couldn't get out. Because of course you would imagine if your child gets struck by a thing, you would leap out of the car no matter what.
Yeah.
But she couldn't get out. So what I'm saying here is, if the mom couldn't get out, right, the vehicle is fairly secure, because in that moment you're going to get yourself some Incredible Hulk, you know, going to flip that car and save your child at any way you can. So this has got to be less of the restraints don't work, and more of, as we've been talking about, the gap issue in the restraints.
The challenge with a single bar is, and we had this opening month or two of MIB, and there were issues which led them to add seatbelts and then eventually revise them to individual lap bars for the same reason. That one long lap bar, if you have one large parent with a big belly, it means it doesn't go down to encapsulate the kid sitting next to them. Now, also the loading people should be keeping eye on that and making sure that those kids are in the center. That's the whole reason that they say put kids in the center.
To be fair, how long had the ride been operating at this point? It
4
had been
days.
Soft. 4 days plus soft, but 4 days. These are brand new people at this too.
Right.
Yeah,
And
this is exactly when you're going to have this
type
happen.
of ride isn't new. Like, these lap bars are not new.
No, I'm sure they were told about
they
it.
should have known. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I would be very surprised if there were not some sort of floor sensing, and if they're not, you can be damn well sure they're going to add that.
That's the strangest part.
And but this is one of those things where there's not one fault. It's not the engineering of the ride's fault. It's
Right.
not solely the kid's fault. It's not solely the parents' fault. It's not the
Yeah.
ride loader's fault. It's a little bit of everything. It's a gray area. You can't point one finger. But I will lean towards watch your kids. This is one of
Yeah.
the reasons Disney says that on every ride now, because like to your point, I think Janine said it was like, it's not like they can leap over quicker than you can see or react,
Right.
because they would have had to squirm out from the belt, stand on the seat, and then climb over the edge of the vehicle. That's a couple of beats that happened, and maybe the parents were looking the other way. Okay, but still, that points back to maybe you should. You can
Even if
hear your
it's
kids screaming
true,
for their headband.
yeah. But even if it's true, if she was in a vehicle with other people, what are the rest of these people doing? Like, why are we allowing a child?
To be fair.
No,
You are in the middle of a
I'm yelling
ride.
at the other people's kids. Get your ass
But
down.
why?
No, I
yeah,
just mean
why
you're
are-
looking at
kid
the
was-
ride. You're not paying
But was the
attention
kid?
to.
Come on now.
But was the kid loaded without a parent?
No,
That's the
it's
other
No,
problem.
I think that it's just weird
That's
writing
what one
where
of
they
that's
say
what the
they
article that
were
Nathan
chasing
said.
after the mother's vehicle, which was formerly her vehicle.
Oh,
My thought.
maybe
Okay.
I don't know. Again, it could be translated weird.
Weird.
I think it's my main takeaway from that article was less that and more of the mother not being able to get out. So that's intriguing. It feels like I'm thinking of Soren and how you can put a strap, connect an extra strap for your child if they're under a certain
yeah.
height.
Yeah.
I feel like there's got to be some engineering way to fix this. Not that they could add it, but it seems like there's got to be some way you can. But I guess it's
But
filling
this
a
isn't
void,
even a
not
I predict-
restraining.
Mhm.
I have a prediction.
Mm.
I would predict it's too high profile. They will retrofit them to have seatbelts like Rise of the Resistance, which is going to take
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
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 Has
Well,
it
they
I
did
bet.
close
I
it.
bet.
Yeah,
Huh?
like the next day.
Okay.
Well, I thought they were closing it until the new year. That's
No.
what I read.
No, it opened.
Oh, damn. All right.
I'm pretty sure. Let me
Yeah,
triple
it
check.
opened. No, it opened with the land.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
the
That's-
20th.
No,
Mhm.
no, I'm saying like because I read somewhere that they had closed it for after the incident.
Yeah, they
for
did.
a few
The
days.
Yeah, it's-
ride.
Yeah.
But not the land.
Yeah.
Is-
I'm talking about the ride.
I thought the
Oh,
ride
yeah, it's
reopened.
closed.
No,
Oh, did it?
I thought it reopened.
I
Oh,
mean, honestly,
okay,
they
'cause-
probably did reopen it. Yeah.
We'll
I'm-
resume
I'm-
operations this morning. So let's see
Okay.
here.
Okay.
This is from
Right.
Deadline. Deadline says after shutting down they released the following statement online. Zootopia Hot Pursuit will resume operations this morning. All guests are required to comply with the resort's operational guidelines as they experience
There
the
you go.
attraction. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's back open.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at the end
well,
of the day,
that's what- No,
What were
you
you
can do
saying,
that in
Dave?
China. You can no, in China they can basically say follow the rules, right?
no,
That's-
yeah.
that-
Follow the
So,
rules.
yeah.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I mean, I understand that people don't really like the Secret Life of Pets vehicle, but I do think that every single ride that we have moving forward needs to have those type, like, it needs to be super, super tight
100%
restraints.
encapsulation. Yeah. Yeah. The
In
problem
every
there is you
single
can
ve-
have
not just children, for adults
Yeah.
too, because they do too
You can-
much.
Yeah, you can. The issue with that ride in particular is it was engineering
Yeah.
designed for Japan, and no
Right.
one was watching
Yes.
no one was watching the kitchen when
Yeah.
it came over here. I mean, I got
Yeah.
that story from friends that work there that like it literally passed by everybody. They didn't know until they started ride testing, and so I find that very hard to believe, but I also find it not hard to believe. So that they thought, oh, it's that we've done this ride before, we don't have to look at it, right?
Yeah.
And so 100% encapsulation is not impossible. And Rise of the Resistance is a perfect example of that. Do it with a seatbelt. And it takes a
Yes.
little longer to load, but it's not a deal breaker,
No.
But
Especially when you go from 8 a car to 10 a car, which is what you have at Zootopia. You're at least
Yeah.
gaining a little
That's
bit of
massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move from Shanghai over to Bedford, England. Sarah, what's going on over in Bedford, England?
You know, Universal is really putting in some work. They're making up for that lost time during the pandemic. So Universal just launched a website for a potential theme park in Bedford, England. They're saying that they're exploring its feasibility for a possible theme park, and they sent out some communication to the locals about how their projects bring in thousands of jobs to any place that they go. And they're looking at a potential park and resort experience in Bedford, England.
Yeah,
So
45
it's like
miles from London.
Yeah, it's close.
yes.
It's about the same as Disneyland from LA, right? It's fairly close. Better transit. There's a train that goes there. I think it's
Yeah.
super smart. I mean, the UK has always been looked at because there are big parks there, but there's no major player park, right? And the success of things like the Wizarding World, or not Wizarding World, but the Harry Potter Studio Tour,
Yeah.
Has whet
At
some
Warner
appetites,
Brothers.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. Because it's not a theme park, but it's the number one rated, highest grossing tourist destination in all of the UK. And so, like, I'm not surprised that, and you know, you had the Paramount Park destined there for a while, and that then became called the London Resort, which was stripped of Paramount IP. That Paramount Park I worked on when it was destined for Korea. It was going to go outside of Seoul. And and yeah, and that was years ago, like 2004 or 5. And in a lot of ways, I heard that master plan was like, let's put it somewhere else, and that was what they looked at for London. But I don't know why the Paramount and London Resort. I think the London Resort didn't work out because they lost the IP. Because I don't think it'll happen without it. There's too much competition there of non-branded parks that are very strong, like Alton Towers, and you know the UK parks have their own audience. There's no reason to compete with that with something that isn't an international IP. So I'm not surprised that Universal, after the failure of the London Resort, came in, not that they're the same location, just in general from a feasibility study standpoint, came in and went, yep, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think some people are probably going to say like, oh, but isn't this going to take people away from Florida, which is a prime destination for English people? I would say that my two comments there is, this is not that size. From what we're seeing, it's Universal exclusive IP. No Harry Potter. No, like there's a couple other things. What are the other ones? Like no Marvel, of course. No, they can't use that stuff. So no King Kong. I'm trying to think what. No, they do King Kong. I'm trying to think what else.
I bet it's the Texas park.
Oh, I think so. I think for sure. Yeah.
Oh, the kids park?
Yes, because there's a lot of that in the UK. There's
day trips.
A lot of day trip parks, a lot of small ones, and a lot of ones that are focused on kids, like Legoland. I think it's a perfect market for that.
Yeah. I agree. And I guess I would also say is, okay, I would love for less people to show up at Universal and Disney here. Well, not here in Florida. I don't live there anymore. But like, yeah, great.
Well, not only
awesome.
that, but I feel like it may someone has to start their theme park journey somewhere.
Yep.
And so
100%.
like having a taste and being like, ooh, I really liked that. I want more. We're going to go to the big one next is probably a more likely thing than people saying, oh, I'm not going to bother.
Well, and I think when you have Epic Universe coming in, it officially sort of says like, okay, this is home base.
This is like a teaser.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in many ways, like Hollywood's not even that big, you know, like Universal, even beyond, I mean, Disney, like Universal's very much been like Florida. That's where we live. And that's where all the stuff is. And we have ancillary tour and, you know, these couple other things that they're working on. But I think they don't feel that like people aren't going to show up because Epic Universe is Epic Universe. You know, I think that's what you would do if you felt like, oh yeah, we're not, this isn't going to take people away from us. So,
but I don't think they're going to make an Epic style investment there at all.
No.
And
yeah, I think that's the thing. I think they can feel more comfortable like making these smaller parks because people are still going to come to the bigger joint. It's not an apples and oranges scenario.
No,
it's
the perfect example.
Well, they actually
is
it is. It's not apples to apples. It is apples to oranges, I should say.
Yeah.
So.
But I was gonna say like the perfect example that we have is like Tokyo Disneyland and what we actually have in Disneyland. Like the Japanese people are still coming over to us and they're still visiting.
Yeah, they come to
parks.
Disneyland because it's the original, right?
Yeah, so it's like that's what it is. So you're gonna have the same thing.
I think it's also that you have to remember Universal likes recycling concepts and art and plans. They don't want to waste anything. And so with so much design and effort and money going into Texas, and by the way, the Vegas horror attraction, both of those could be crammed together and have 2 separate tickets for day trips in the UK. It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
So I think that's my prediction. It's both of those things.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Very true.
Are you
Yeah.
telling me that they like to reuse plans instead of just willy nilly throwing blue sky art into the world and being like, we might do this. Who knows?
Yep.
Who knows?
At least
Maybe.
we know what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is, well, we can say now this is not a rumor. This is official, according to friend of the pod, Alicia Stella. Sarah, we got some, I don't know if this is considered devastating news because I don't associate this with Universal, but there is some
Yeah.
news. This is
So
Orlando, by the way.
Universal,
Yeah.
yeah. So Universal Orlando is getting rid of their paper maps starting on January 1st. So if you were trying to get a paper map, good luck. They're telling you to just go ahead and download that app, and use that as a way to like navigate through the park. There was a lot of people that were upset about this. Honestly, I am one of those people. I love paper maps. I collect all of them. It makes me very upset when we are getting rid of stuff like this because I think it's also an accessibility issue. So, yeah, what are your
It's
guys' thoughts on it?
accessibility, it's children. Like handing your small child a map and being like,
It's a good way to
hey,
distract them.
point no, well, not only that, but like
Yeah.
point out what you want to do, where do you want to
That too.
go in a way that's different. No, I'm mad about this. I really love having a tangible map and not having to whip your phone out because like I don't know about you guys, but anytime that someone I'm with whips out their phone, it doesn't matter if they're doing something that is like for the group, it feels isolating. Like they're in a
It does.
different place and you are being
Yeah.
snubbed, their attention is elsewhere. And it's different if it's like, hey, this is a map, this is dedicated. Like, I don't know what they're doing if they're looking at their phone, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I 75% don't like it. I'm
I
with you
get it.
guys in that, and I get why. I mean, look, I have a bookshelf folder, one of those metal sort of slide in, what do they call those, folios?
Yeah.
And it's packed
Yeah.
with these things dating back to the probably late 80s, early 90s. Like I have them from everywhere, all over the world, and I've kept them for years, not for like worth or anything. I always use them just as reference, right? For
Right.
professionally, it's like, oh yeah, what was that thing I went to go see? So I have the, and when that shit goes on eBay in 5 or 10 years, just watch out because y'all ain't ready. But like as a kid, to Janine's point, to me it was the souvenir. Like when I didn't have any pocket money and I went on a trip with friends as a kid, or a school trip or whatever, like I had enough to buy candy and get a park map, and the park map is the thing that I tape to my wall and stare at longingly for months after the trip. So I think it's a real loss. I also think the accessibility thing is important. I hope they've done their homework about who has mobile devices and who doesn't. In parks, especially with international guests. I
Yeah.
would guess that more international guests do have them nowadays. That probably wasn't the case 10 years ago, but with Wi-Fi being more available and international roaming being a thing that people are prepared for and pay for vacations, I bet you they have data that says the accessibility issue for international guests is not as big an issue as we think it might be.
I'm
But
talking
accessibility
about like an
overall,
elderly and accessibility overall, but like from
accessibility
a person who's,
overall, right, I think
Yes.
is an issue, and I think it's a real loss. I predict that they will not be at the front gate, but they will
They'll
be
be
at
around.
guest relations,
Yeah.
and there will be limited copies available.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they'll be generalized. It's just going to be, it'll be the map on one side. It won't be like
Right.
for new retract. It'll just be whatever's the new thing. It'll all be
Right. And
fresh, but it won't be.
they won't update it, because you know how they put new things on it and event stuff.
Yeah.
That's going to go away.
No. Yeah. It'll just be attractions and restaurants.
Yeah, I think that's what it's for.
Yeah. From an ecological standpoint, it's totally, yeah, totally. We now have boards. We have smart boards in most of the parks that are updating wait times and have maps. I think that there could be a little more of that availability. I think if your theme park doesn't have classic mall map type areas, it's probably a bad idea, because there are people that are just not going to be phone tactile in that way, and they're going to want to stand next to a thing and look at it. And I think with large, smart, basically TV monitor versions of that, you can update things very quickly and easily. And that's, I'm just trying to think of, we are changing I'm trying to think of an example here. The festival ends, and so we have to now junk 800 pieces of map because we're not
Probably
using
more
them
than
anymore.
that.
Oh, way more than that.
Yeah.
And frankly, if we can stop on big event days giving guests like paper shit that they then sell before they even own it on eBay, fine with me. As much as I have that stuff and I love that stuff from the anniversaries I've been at, that's always been kind of an issue. Like you see these people hoarding all of this stuff and they'll grab piles of it, and it's a
and all
mess.
the companies, all the studios and all the companies and everything's trying to go, it's they're going green, which in one sense is good intention, on another sense is just lip service, because all it is a tax credit, right?
Yeah,
If they can get
totally.
Yeah,
to
it's
lead
total
certification,
greenwashing.
it's greenwashing, right? It's we know this, but they have it all over the parks now, and you got like the urinals in the men's room are all those waterless ones, which, to their credit, for a location like that, saves a fuck ton of money. Like, and I get it.
Though there's still, I mean, I don't know how you do it well. We could have a whole episode on how to do bathrooms better at parks, because the amount of paper loss is insanity. So
yeah. So this is a money saving thing. It's not they'll greenwash it, but it's a money saving thing first and foremost.
I mean,
Yeah,
as long
'cause
as
I
they
think-
have. Sorry, go ahead, Janine.
Go ahead, Sarah.
No, I was just gonna say, as long as they have those maps available, like in guest relations, or someone can go if they needed them, totally for it. I don't agree with the whole like having a stack of maps at the entrance for people that are just gonna take it and throw it away.
And
Unnecessary.
the complaint is like updating it for Mardi Gras, updating it for this, updating it for
we
that.
don't
If they
need that.
just had one map that they only updated when they had a new attraction or a change in restaurants, that would be a lot simpler and alleviate a lot of the cost and waste issues.
Well, I think about Epcot and festivals, and I'm sure this is the same with California Adventure. Like, they make those cool booklets, and I like them, and they're very helpful.
They are.
But at the same time, I'm thinking, but if you probably could do this just as well. Maybe if your app wasn't total shit, you could
For real.
like,
that's the bigger issue.
Yeah,
That
I
is
mean,
the bigger issue.
when it really comes down to it, is I don't know if we would have these conversations about, because in theory you can say there's more accessibility utilizing an app, because that app can utilize the functions of accessibility that has been given by Apple or Google or whatever, like larger images or read announcements or whatever that person needs, they have all set up already. So in many ways, I think the phone can help. Now, I think there's a part of me that is always thinking about class, and I think it's something I think about a lot when thinking about projects for my students. Because I'm in media creation, and I want them to, I sometimes want to have assignments where they use their phone, but I need to have an alternative, because there can be people that don't have phones. It still exists. It's a part of poverty. And I see the same in theme parks, right? Like, some people still aren't going to have a phone, but somebody got them to the theme park. And as long as those people have some option, I guess that's okay. I think I felt that more like 20 years ago, when someone on a low income wouldn't go into debt by trying to go get a small college loan to go to Disney World for 2 days. Now I think it's almost inaccessible for that bracket. So I don't know. Maybe they're just kind of
Or if you're
factoring
just trying
that
to
in.
save data on your phone, things like that can happen. Like if you're, because like as someone that was
Data?
visiting,
Y'all still buying monthly data?
No. I'm saying that as someone that was using roaming while I was traveling,
Sure.
like I was like, good Lord, like I had to make sure I couldn't be on the apps as much as I wanted to, because like I needed to make sure that I had Wi-Fi so that I can use the map to get home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can't just offline their material. Yeah.
Exactly. So like it's things like that too. So it's a class issue, it's an accessibility issue, and I feel like it's just really frustrating when they try to like bring in greenwashing, and then as soon as you're trying to like say something against it, it's like, oh, all of a sudden you're not for the planet. Girl, I live on the same planet as you. I'm trying to see it thrive also, but at the same time, we also need to make sure that we allow for the people that are spending thousands of dollars to get to these theme parks, so that they can also enjoy it as much as the next person.
Yeah.
That's literally
true.
what it is.
Yeah, the
So,
offset cost is pretty small when you think about someone, or put a map in a hotel room. You know, like I don't know.
yeah,
I don't know. There are.
just if
I don't
it's
want to.
available, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But you know, and again, we're talking about universal maps right now. Disney has not said anything. This is just. I don't even remember. I don't
This
know
I
if I
feel like
have a
Disney Maps.
universal map because I don't feel like they just give them out. I think that they're far more
Yeah.
reclusive. I don't.
Yeah.
I would have one. Maybe I do and I don't know it, but I would have one. So anyway, let's
Yeah.
move on.
I've got old ones.
Dave,
Hi.
we're going to have a new guest, a new panelist on our show next year. We're going to have Steamboat Ratty because now that Mickey and Minnie are entering public domain in 2024, we can do whatever we want.
That's crazy.
With Steamboat Willie, right? Right? We can do anything we want with Mickey, right, Dave?
Mm.
So what's going on with this?
So before we get into that, let's talk about Disney in public domain, shall we?
We shall.
They love the public domain. Remember, things like Sleeping Beauty, Pinocchio, The Little Mermaid, Sorcerer's Apprentice. All of these are derived from public domain.
When did
Disney
Winnie the
loves-
Pooh go into public domain? That just went into public domain, so
2
they
years
paid
ago.
for that one.
Yeah, 2 years ago, and Tigger goes this year. But you know, Walt told people that they took the inspiration from Steamboat Willie from Charlie Chaplin and Douglas Fairbanks, making fair use of their performances. Like Disney loves, they love the public domain. They just
Yeah.
need to share is the issue, right? They you know, the Steamboat Willie was inspired by Buster Keaton's silent film Steamboat Bill.
Yeah.
Titles are not copyrightable. They
Yeah.
love copyright limitations, and I'm paraphrasing some of this from an amazing article that y'all need to read. If you don't know Cory Doctorow,
Oh, sure. Mhm.
Cory Doctorow is from Boing, an incredible writer and historian and technology, pundit. He has a great article on his Medium, Doctorow, doctorow.medium.com. And he has a really, really, really great article about all of this. And it links to a law professor who breaks it all down. So all of this to say, Disney's threading a needle very, very tightly to allow this to happen. And what it means to the public is there's a difference, first of all, between trademark and copyright. Trademark, Mickey as a trademark, is the company's icon. You cannot use Mickey in any form in a way that misleads consumers, into thinking that your work is produced or sponsored by Disney. So anyone who thinks they can use this to sort of wink at the public, you're going to get slapped with a lawsuit because that's trademark.
Yeah.
Everything past the first bunch of Mickey cartoons, Plain Crazy, Steamboat Willie, that era, everything past that still has copyright. So the later versions of Mickey, like for instance, the new ones that made it into like Runaway Railway, all the new shorts, those are new versions of Mickey, and those copyrights still stand.
And for people that don't understand this, it's not just like one copyright for Mickey Mouse. It's like tan-faced Mickey Mouse C. Like there are multiple characters. There's not one Mickey Mouse. There are multiple Mickey Mouses for these purposes.
Yeah, there was the weird phase in what was it, the 60s, where his head can turn and his ears would go with him, and it was very odd.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there was I love the 80s one where he had like the unconstructed blazer like Miami Vice and the the big Rolex and the Converse tennis shoes. They poochied him in the 80s,
they did,
and it's amazing. Some of it you see in the queue for Runaway Railway here in the States. In California. It's the one thing I love more about the version here than in Florida is the queue is phenomenal, and it goes through all this history of everything and makes jokes about all the old Mickey cartoons. And anyway, so the public domain means for Mickey right now means that you are free to copy, share, and build on Mickey Mouse 1.0. So Steamboat Willie Mickey, OG Mickey, you can do stuff with him. Can you pretend you're the Disney company and make fun of them? No, you'll get slapped with a lawsuit. Can you do stuff on your own with that Mickey and make money off it? Yeah. You can make t-shirts. You can make art. Etsy girls are going to go fucking crazy with this.
Oh, if you've not already started your work on this, you're already late.
Yeah,
I got to get started.
Somebody's been spending the last 6 months running things by lawyers. There's
Yeah,
so
the top
much
line
coming.
is you can use all the elements of Mickey that are present in Steamboat Willie, along with some elements that were added later, provided that you make it clear that your work is not affiliated with Disney. So it goes a lot deeper than that, and there are more nuances and complexities. I highly recommend anyone interested in this read Cory Doctorow's article that he published on December 15th. It is, it's called "It All Started with a Mouse." It's on Medium. It is phenomenal, and it digs into it and gives a lot of links to other cases like it, other brands that have gone through this. This is not new. This is not like, yay, we can do whatever they want with Mickey Mouse. This has been a long time coming, and Disney's planned for it. It's not like this snuck up on, you know.
No. Well, they make a good point about Winnie the Pooh here too, which is that Winnie the Pooh is certainly in public domain. That's why you can have a horror movie with Winnie the Pooh, but it can't look like their Winnie the Pooh. Like in the same way that Cinderella is public domain, but you can't just have, I mean, you can get real close. You can get real close, but you can't, there are certain things that they're going to look at. They could make a case in court that you are utilizing that. So
you don't want to go against Disney and their lawyers.
No,
you can do your own illustrations of a Pinocchio or a Snow Queen. They just can't be the Disney versions, right?
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting because it's, I mean, you got to think about like this too. There is artwork, Disney published artwork of Steamboat Willie characters that is under copyright because it is the artwork of those characters that is copyrighted by Disney. Not, you have to, it can only be the original film. Like, I think people, you know, it's not like, oh, well, this means like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example here. Like I can use a bunch of photos from any photo they've ever made of a Steamboat Willie Mickey I can use now. Nope. It's really truly just this one piece of media and the stuff that's utilized inside of it. You can create stuff out of that, but yeah, it's a minefield and someone's going to they're ready for you. So be careful.
Oh, right. There are going to be lawsuits from this faux show.
Yeah.
But there are also people who are going to find creative uses for it. And I think it's going to really more be artistic expression. I mean, if you guys don't know about one thing that was a copyright, was a lawsuit that Disney did with the Disney characters, it was called the Tijuana Bibles. Do you know about this?
No.
Let me find. So the Tijuana Bibles were these dirty, by the way, just know if you Google this, dirty, filthy, X-rated.
I mean, it's a sexy episode, so it's fine.
But yeah, we're already talking about, you know, banging dudes. So the Tijuana Bibles were these palm-sized erotic comics produced in the 20s to the 60s.
Oh yeah, I know these.
They peaked during the Great Depression.
That sounds weirder than it is. I know of these. I'm not like super familiar.
They often riffed on popular characters of the time. There's like dirty versions of Blondie and Dagwood and things like that. There are Disney themed ones. And they are awful. I actually have 2 t-shirts, all over t-shirts, that I bought from, and it was some one-off fashion skate collab kind of brand, and they did it under the radar. They're completely illegal, and they're covered with Disney characters. They look like one of those all over, and they're tone on tone, so it's like black on black, so they're not full color. But they're covered in Disney characters. And like, oh look, it's the 7 Dwarves, and then you see what they're doing to Snow White. Yeah. And oh look, it's Sleeping Beauty, and look at what Prince Charming is doing as he puts that shoe on, or Cinderella, excuse me. They're
I gotta look these up.
Filthy. Well, like I cannot wear them to the parks. I've worn them to gay bars, and they're a great conversation starter.
Like I'm fine with Wimpy, like, you know, giving it to Olive Oil, but now I just saw the Marx Brothers with their dicks out, and I don't know what to think about that at all. I'm not for that. I don't need to see Harpo's dick.
There's ones with Donald walking in on Mickey and Minnie doing it. I saw
that one.
And then Donald fucking Mickey and Minnie, and it's fine.
Oh yeah, there it is. Wow. That Donald one's rather chaste.
Donald's got it's scroll down.
I don't want to. Well, as this image, I should say.
He's a grower, not a shower.
This is like the anti-chick track.
Oh my God, chick tracks. That's a whole other discussion. Oh my God. Those are, you guys, oh, see, the ladies probably don't know about chick tracks. Chick
I
tracks were
know.
these, oh, you know about them,
I
Janine.
don't know.
Sorry, you probably don't know. They're these little handouts that uber religious people would hand out. They were little teeny comics about how much of a sinner you are. And they were basically little comics. Just look up chick tracks, you'll see.
Okay.
But they kind of
Hilarious.
They're so good. They're
They're kind of
good.
amazing. They're kind of amazing.
Really well done in the
Yeah.
sense of the artistry of them. The message is horrible, but
The messages are all about how we're all going to burn in hell because we're sinners.
right. But then it
Well,
would show like
sometimes
someone's
it's fun.
face melting off or something. And you're
Yeah.
like, that's pretty. That
Yeah.
kind of rips. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know, man. It seems kind of cool.
Yeah, you touched yourself, so you're going to burn in hell. This is basically the message of one of them, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, I don't think you're going to see something like the Disney Tijuana Bibles out there making money, because that's the kind of thing they can shut down.
Yeah.
But it's happened. I mean, they're already out there if you find them.
I mean, this is the funny thing about this whole concept is like, I don't know, man, just go to Redbubble. Like, it's not, I mean, I know that, like, you know, there's plenty of this kind of stuff out there. It's not that well hidden either. So,
especially if you
Donald and
draw
Minnie
your
are
own
having
version of Mickey,
things,
if you
so.
draw your own artwork and it's like, an homage to it, there's so much wiggle room.
there's a lot of wiggle room. I mean, honestly, like our album artwork was a lot of me trying to figure out how to Disneyfy something without Disneyfying it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the hat, basically the red badge on the Mickey hat. So, or it looks like it, I should say, Disney.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Don't worry, Disney. We're not making any money off this show. Let's move on.
Moving on.
Let's move from Tijuana over to India. That's a transition.
To India. So, Disney Plus is all over the world, but in various flavors, partnered with other regional providers and cable companies and such. And when Disney bought 20th Century Fox, part of that agreement was an entity that Fox owned in India called Hotstar. And Hotstar was basically a cable provider, media provider. They had their own streaming service. And one of the big things that Hotstar provided were cricket matches, which were, I guess, part of a free tier originally on Hotstar. But when Disney acquired them, they decided, no, people can pay for these things. And so they put them behind the paywall of Disney Plus to watch cricket matches, and they lost millions of subscribers, like 2 million one year and almost 4 million the next year or something like that. It was nuts. And so they realized the error of their ways, because all those the rights had lapsed in that time period too for the cricket matches, and a competitor picked them up. So Disney was fucked all around from every direction on this, and so their only way out,
which is appropriate. Congrats, Disney.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Now somebody's making a Tijuana Bible with Bob Iger in it, like, getting fucked with a cricket bat.
Lord.
So,
Yes, Daddy. All right,
Daddy.
Okay. Anyways,
He's, I could see he can have an OnlyFans. He's stacked. He's got a
Sure.
nice body.
honestly, I'll pay for it.
I pay for it. He's a hot
Yeah.
zaddy.
He would.
Hot sweater zaddy.
that man got bad politics.
OnlyFans.com.
That guy messy.
Yeah.
That guy messy.
He messy,
You guys,
but
well,
I hate
you
fucking.
know.
I hate fucking. That's what I do.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, but the only way out of this, because they are getting soundly beaten by their competition on it, is if you can't beat them, buy them. And so they're literally buying their competition and folding them into Disney Plus to get the rights to cricket back. Is that correct?
I think you're close. To my
Close?
knowledge, it's more of a merger.
Merger. Okay, merger.
I think they're tired of losing, and the money's not that great, and they're
Yeah.
tired of working it out. And I'm sorry, that is me. Hold on.
A Studer.
No,
A
sorry.
Studer is so ready to go today. There's
That
so much
is-
for a Studer to talk about.
Yeah, yo,
Yeah.
when I sometimes I use there are shortcuts for these buttons. I need to just get rid of them and hit the play buttons for them, because I hit refresh and then a Studer wakes up. It's not good. Hold on, let me try that again.
Premature a Studer.
So
Premature.
what's
Premature a cooter.
Yeah. So what's going on here is Reliance has 51% and Disney has 49%. So I wouldn't say Disney's coming out ahead because they're going from
they're not. They're
nothing.
They're tail between their legs, reluctantly merging.
Yeah. Yeah, when you have, let's say, a Disney source says we were bullish on Indian subscribers' propensity to pay, that's not worked out. Which is a really funny way of saying. It's a really funny way of saying. You could just change the country, and it would work for anywhere. That's what you've learned, Disney. So, yeah, free cricket.
To pay.
Let's see here. They said earlier this year, free cricket is the only bullet left. That's what they said. So. Yeah, that was really the only thing that would keep their end of things afloat is if they merged for cricket. So,
yeah,
man, it's, I would say this: Disney has a weird connective tissue history with sports. It's strange since the like the 80s. There's just been this weird connection between sports and Disney. Yeah, and the Ducks, of course. Speaking of a duck, if it quacks like a duck. And it walks like a duck. It's probably an abuser.
It's probably an abuser. Yeah.
Who is Marvel and Disney saying bye bye to? Dave, I should say this is your.
Oh, is it? So yeah. Well, we saw this coming. Jonathan Majors, in the brouhaha of his assault trial, got a guilty verdict. And. It's not surprising when you watch the footage. There are things that he said in his defense that are correct, but in the grand scheme of things, when you see it, it is assault. It is very clearly assault, regardless of the tenacity of the victim, which is what his entire defense was sort of resting on, that she was obsessed with him and whatever, yada, 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 that she started it basically. That's what he was saying.
You can always run.
You can always run. And he didn't. And he did he said some very toxically masculine and also just shitty things about his fame and his position in the world. And
he drank the Kool-Aid real hard on himself.
He drank the cold Kool-Aid. He was smelling his own farts. That is absolutely the source of all of this. He was smelling his own farts.
Yeah.
And so Marvel has dropped him. They've parted ways with Kang. So no more Jonathan Majors and probably no more Kang. I don't see them recasting this.
You think they're just gonna go, we're done and move on to something else?
First of all, hot take. Kang is a terrible character.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Totally.
Really?
Kang is too much. It's too much stuff. There's just like, you never got a clear sense of what Kang's motive was, other than he can be many things over time. Okay, that's confusing.
Well, but
for
it's
an average fan,
it's like multiple people. Like it's not even so. Like, look, if Kang the Conqueror can get beaten by Ant-Man, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned about Kang anymore. So
that was a little weird. That part was weird. I do want to clarify what he was found guilty of, though, because he was found guilty of reckless assault in the 3rd degree and guilty of harassment, but he was found not guilty of intentional assault in the 3rd degree and not guilty of aggravated harassment. So I think it is important.
That is a fine difference.
It's like basically misdemeanors. Like
basically,
he may get jail 5 minutes, but no, he's getting probation.
Yeah, it's most likely a probation and a misdemeanor because I do think that this case is really complicated, and like you were saying, Dave, it's she was saying this, she was doing that. It's
only reason I would suggest a potential for jail is a lot of judges have a trial tax. Like if you take anything to trial and you're guilty on anything, you may get a weekend in jail. Like
he should be going to jail for telling his white girlfriend that she should be like Coretta Scott King. For real.
Yeah.
Like if that's what you wanted, maybe I don't know, maybe go date a black woman. Don't tell your white girlfriend. Be serious.
Or also, who do you think you are? You think you're MLK?
That too.
Yeah.
It's so much.
To me, the easiest way to describe that, to distill that down for me, is it was bad choices made in the heat of discussion, not bad intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Reactionary.
I agree.
Yeah.
It was reactionary, not I'm going to go abuse somebody. It's
But
like,
I
dude, you
think-
made really bad choices in the
It
heat
was
of
a
the moment.
very toxic relationship, it
Yeah.
seems like.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that, you
But
know,
not
it
the
did
only
get
one
to
he's
this
been
level.
accused of.
And that's
That's
the thing.
the other thing. Like,
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
but the thing
You
is,
sure know how to pick 'em. I
when
don't
you're
know.
on trial for a case, nothing else gets in other than the specific facts of that
Right,
individual
yeah.
case. And my
Right.
husband is a former public defender. He calls this the shit show defense. Like, it was just a shit show. Like, yeah, everybody kind of fucked up. Yeah, maybe my client did fuck up, but like, it was a shit show. What would you do in this situation? Like, you think you
Right.
would be perfect in this situation? Like,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably would be better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would
yeah.
expect better. I think that's
It's
the thing
not a
too.
great
It's like,
defense.
here's the
It's
problem.
not, but when you have alcohol and drugs involved, like
It's messy. Well, and that's the thing
it's
is,
so messy.
he could probably get away with this if he was innocent completely. I still think Marvel would have been like, I don't know, man. Like, it's too, because then there's just another accusation coming, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's got too much of a history, as you said, Dave. He's smelling his own farts too much. He's just kind of into himself, and it doesn't seem like good vibes. And the fact
Yeah,
remains
yeah.
that none of his movies have worked that well, and he's not that engaging in this. I liked Jonathan Majors as an actor. I probably still will, in
Yeah, no, he's a
other
good
roles.
actor.
Like, again, it's like get your stuff together. It's one of those moments where I'm like, all right, you need to have a Shia LaBeouf moment here, and go cool off and come back. But
I don't
yeah.
think he can come back from this, to be honest
I
with you.
agree.
I don't think
Well, you
and I
think,
think-
well, I would agree. A black man in America certainly has
what
a
I'm
harder
saying.
time
and that's
coming
what
back
it is
from
for
this
me.
in America.
Like, I'm never going to debate whether or not he's guilty of the things that have happened, but I will say that it is very, like, we all know why he was fired from Marvel. We all know why he got such a quick guilty verdict in 4 hours or less from this jury.
Yeah.
We understand the politics that are at play here, and it is purely because he's a black man and she's a white woman. Like, I'm not going to take it down the route of, oh, this is like, because I know some people were saying that on Twitter, oh, this is a lynching of a black man.
Yeah.
Let's not. This man did
Let's-
some
can we
man
not
made
do that?
choices. Man
Let's
made
not
choices.
do that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Men make choices regardless. We still have patriarchy here,
Yeah.
regardless of race. But there is still that we can still have that conversation of saying, had this been a white man, would we have seen these results? I don't know. I really don't know.
I think it would have taken longer. Like, it would have
Yes.
it would have been drawn out more. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And we don't know from the back end, we don't know if he just wants this to be over either. Like, there's a chance that on his end, he's like, this is not
Yeah,
good
like,
Yeah,
pay
enough.
he's
me
just-
out.
He's
Yeah.
just going to take his money and go hide for a while and come back later.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because he was dropped by his management too, and his PR and everybody.
Well,
Yeah.
there's the reason that I don't think that he can come back for this is he had a reputation of being a fucking jackass to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's- I
Yeah.
heard that
100%.
too.
100%. Yeah.
That, alone
honestly,
will get you out.
that more than anything else will get you
Yes,
out.
like Elizabeth
Yeah.
Hurley. Like, that's what
Yeah.
happened to her career. She was a nightmare to work with, and you never saw her again after Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have a hot take that, like, I don't think he was very good as that character either.
No.
Oh,
No.
I hated the season 2 of Loki.
Yeah, it was bad. It was not the moment any show
just like
decides
him
to
in
be a part
Creed.
of a larger universe instead of being its own thing.
Yeah.
It just got too complicated. I was like, ugh.
I just didn't
Okay,
like
so
his
if we-
character in it.
So if we were to recast him, who would you guys want to recast?
Denzel
him?
Washington.
Or Denzel Washington? Okay.
You need old Kang who comes in and destroys every other Kang. So all those Kangs were meeting in that Coliseum, and big bomb, boom. I'm the Kang that waited. I'm the one that
Can
waited for my
Can
moment.
Denzel give us maniacal and crazy?
Oh yeah.
Oh, sure.
Have you not
Yeah?
seen Training Day? Go watch
Oh.
Training
Okay.
Day.
All right. all right.
Go watch
Training
Day.
Days. He's
You-
insane in
Okay.
Training
Go
Day.
watch Training Day.
Okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
make a petition. It's gonna be Denzel.
You got to
Gonna
see
be
Training.
Denzel. I'm
You have
putting
an
it in. I'm
assignment.
watching it tonight.
You're gonna watch Training Day,
Yeah.
and you're gonna talk
It's
about
on
next
Amazon
episode.
Oh, it's on Amazon.
It's a really fucking great movie. Actually,
It's real
I'm gonna
good.
watch more
it's so not
Denzel.
my genre, but it's so
Yeah.
good.
It's what Ethan Hawke too, right?
Ethan Hawke, yeah, it's
So
Antoine
good.
Fuqua, right? Is the director. It's
Yes.
And, Antoine
oh.
Fuqua, who of course Fuqua, who he worked with on the Equalizer films as well.
on Equalizer, yeah, which are also a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I
honestly,
have seen Equalizer.
the third
Oh,
one was
yeah.
the third one ripped. It was kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really good.
It's all mood.
I agree. He would be my first choice. I still don't think it's a worthy character. I think you rework everything in the next phase. You get rid of him, dude. Fucking Doctor Doom, and just get it over with.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
but
yes.
how do you go? Where you set all this
Multiverses.
stuff
It
up?
doesn't matter. Multiverses. You just start over.
You
Like,
can honestly just
they've
we need to
lost their
start
way.
over.
They've lost their way, and I've lost
Yeah.
interest in where everything. I'm not keeping track of everything where everything goes
No,
anymore.
me either.
It's,
Can you
it's
believe
just not.
it? We've reached
No.
that point. We're
no,
not watching.
I did not like Loki season 2 at all.
Mm-mm.
You know, the only thing I've liked of late was Ms. Marvel, and I liked the Marvels. I understand its
fun.
flaws, but I had a good time in the
Yeah.
theater. But
Yeah.
it didn't amount to anything. It
No.
just and none of the recent things like leading up to Kang always felt like a big wet fart.
Well,
It's just
because
nothing
you're not
in
worried.
it felt
Yeah,
important.
you're not worried about anyone dying because they all have to get together for a big movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I get it. It's comic book. We understand they're coming back next week, but still, it's one of those things that, like, when you've said, like, here's the big Thanksgiving feast, you get kind of bored with the dinners that are just normal.
Yeah.
And they're good
Yeah.
dinners. They can be, but you're like, well, you keep saying there's a big Thanksgiving feast.
I think they're at a point where they can just redirect and course correct
Yeah.
everything.
I mean, if there's yeah, I suppose so. They really would need to. I don't know of anything that's really worked in this new session or this new era, from a box office standpoint. I think Thor is kind of done. I think, I mean, I like
even Taika Waititi shit on Love and Thunder. Did you see that? Where
Yeah.
he's like, "Yeah, I did it for the money." You know?
Yeah. Yeah. He's speaking of a guy that's sort of smelling his own farts at
Yeah.
this stage a little bit. And I like Taika,
Yeah.
but
I-
I do too.
Yeah.
But yes.
yeah. So we'll see what happens, I guess. We don't know. Something. They'll do something. Did
Yeah.
anybody watch What If? My favorite episode was What If I Didn't Give a Shit and watched this show.
I heard, I haven't watched
So
it
I
yet.
watched.
I heard episode 6 is amazing.
I think there's some cool cultural
Yeah.
material connected to indigenous people, which is nice.
Yes. Yeah, I hear that's nice, but I
Yeah.
haven't watched any of it yet.
It doesn't matter. So why do I care?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Speaking of something Disney probably should care a little more about, because they now have to cash a check. Write a check. They don't get to cash it. Write a check for $600,000. About
$600,000 for copyright infringement. There was some.
Speaking
this
of
involves...
speaking of a company that's very much against copyright infringement, they like to do it.
Yeah, they like to do it. And I actually, Disney as a company, I don't really think was aware of this happening. You know,
Nah.
when you dig into it. So the short answer is, during the making of Beauty and the Beast, Digital Domain, which is a CG effects company, was doing work on that. And Digital Domain long ago was actually started by James Cameron. Actually, I don't think it's owned by Lightstorm anymore, but they still do work for him. They are basically one of the big players, like Lucasfilm and everything. They do a lot of CG. They used a certain bit of software that involves performance capture and how that outputs to animation later on, called Contour, MOVA Contour, MOVA Contour, by a company called Reardon. Now, if people don't know, in CG, in the world of animation, there's off-the-shelf software that people use. There's plugins. There's a million different products that these companies put together to make these movies. And some of the companies write their own stuff as well, and that's part of the mix. So they have their own proprietary stuff in there as well. But they used this MOVA Contour primarily for the Beast, for the motion capture on the Beast and his performance. And it was Digital Domain DD3, Digital Domain 3.0, and they used this software. And the company Reardon that made it is claiming that DD3 owns the software, and that DD3 stole it and used it for films not only produced by Disney but other studios as well. So and there's a big global holdings company that is behind DD3 as well. It involves other effects companies and houses in China and movies produced over there, and the fact that this technology got traded amongst other design firms. And so this trial was focusing on whether or not Disney can be held liable for the copyright infringement that was done by DD3, by Digital Domain. So it came down to the jury saying, yes, in this sense, Disney needs to pay them $600,000 if they have beef with Digital Domain. They can. This probably means Disney will then probably go and have their own case against DD3.
Oh, for sure.
for breach of contract, because under their contract they're probably supposed to be very transparent about other software licenses and other tools that they use, and they weren't. So this doesn't boil down to Disney doing anything wrong. It's just Disney got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
It
And
really
maybe they did.
Reardon
who
was
knows?
asking for $100 million and the jury awarded 600,000. So that's basically like, yeah, Reardon, you got screwed. We don't really know how much Disney was involved, but they can pay. So they should.
Right. That's you're very right. Right. This is a penance compared to, but there's probably other lawsuits also going on about that technology that don't involve Disney at all.
Yeah.
Although they said that they were Guardians of the Galaxy and Deadpool were originally part of the lawsuit, and then it involved other films, but they did not have to turn over profits for those as part of the suit, but what they did for Beauty and the Beast, like 5 or 6 months after the release of the movie, they had to turn this. So this lawsuit started a long time ago, back in like 2016.
Yeah. So there you go.
So,
pay up.
digital domain, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. That
Pay
sounds
people with
bad.
shit.
Don't do that. Hey, Janine, can you tell me? I've not watched. Okay, Janine, you have a child, a being who would probably be into Percy Jackson. Is
Not
he
be into
watching?
Percy Jackson?
Huh?
How could you not be into Percy Jackson?
Sorry, that's not my age group. You're younger than me.
Yeah, same.
I think I don't know nothing about no Percy
All right,
Jackson.
y'all.
There was just 3 movies that came out, and I know Pierce Brosnan was in them. That's about
Wait,
it.
there's 3?
Yeah, there were 3.
Yeah,
I was shocked. I looked it up the other day. I thought there were 2. There's a
I
third.
They're
thought there was
good.
1.
they're actually good.
I read the first book and I saw the first movie because it was very like riding on Potter's coattails, like
yeah.
the next Potter. I thought
Yeah,
it was cute. I thought they were really good. I thought it was fun. And I'm
The
a Greek
author
mythology nerd, so I
Did
loved
not
it.
like it, from what I gathered.
Right. Yeah.
Tale as
Yeah.
old as time.
But they're involved now in the new
Right.
series.
he is. Yes.
So
And evidently, it's the biggest viewership of any Disney Plus debut ever.
13.3 million views.
Disney, get that in the
its first
parks
6
tomorrow.
days. Yeah.
They should. If they don't turn this into stuff in the parks, they're idiots, because this is their Harry Potter.
yeah, and
This
it's
is-
about time
it
for
is
Harry
a
Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's time. It's good timing because we kind of don't like Harry Potter as much anymore.
Right. This is
There's a
really
window
good timing.
for it. There is
Yep.
a window for it.
Percy Jackson series, like that is my Harry Potter. Like I'm not a
Is it
Harry
really?
Potter. It really is. I love
Oh,
the
cool.
Percy Jackson series. Like I literally grew
That's-
up with them,
That's
and I
a neat-
read
yeah.
every other book by Rick Riordan. Like he was my childhood author. I love
heard-
Oh wow!
That-
I've heard
that
this.
and like
Yeah.
that and the Geronimo Stilton books. If you guys have ever read those books,
I've heard of them. Yeah, I've heard of
I
them.
loved those books when I was a kid.
So what else
That
did
was-
Rick Riordan
yeah.
write?
He also wrote an Egyptian mythology series that was very, very similar as well, which is actually really, really good. I would argue that that's actually better than the Percy Jackson series. I don't want to say that out loud.
That's so cool.
But I do
Like,
love yeah.
if I was a
So, it's
kid when these came
beautiful.
out, I was such a Greek and Egyptian mythology nerd as a kid. I would have
Yeah.
loved these. So I'm surprised I didn't go on and read more, but now I will, because I didn't know they were that
You
good.
sh- He's really, really good as I feel like he's really good. I would still read his books right now, honestly.
Cool.
Maybe
Did
he
anybody
came out with more
watch
stuff.
the premiere of this
Not
Percy
yet.
Jackson
It's on my
show?
list.
On my list.
Desmond is only watching Mickey Mouse stuff right now.
Oh,
Oh,
well, can't complain. That's
Nope.
nice. Let's just keep him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is a series that I think, if it continues in this realm to be this big, this is when I start realizing I don't know everything, because like I don't have a connection to Percy Jackson. You're just, I don't know. So I would need numbers, but Sarah is like, oh yeah, I know, yeah, because it's like your age group is the first readers.
Yeah.
The movies came out, and I think that gagged like a kind of a reboot a little bit, or a extra power to the series, and then they've kind of just been around. So this feels like a land to me, if they really wanted to do something with it.
They totally could do like a Camp Half-Blood. Like that's just, it's so
Yeah.
cool. Like I
Yeah.
could definitely see something like that, but I don't know if there's a lot of, I don't know if it has the world building that Harry Potter has. Like there isn't, besides Camp Half-Blood, I can't think of another place where they could like, that
Right.
screams because it's in the real world. That's the
Right.
difference, I feel like.
Right. Well, that's fine, because you just put Percy Jackson characters in a real world scenario in a ride. Like
That is
there's
true.
you don't
You
have
could do
to.
something like that.
Yeah, but
Because I'm thinking from like a whole land. Like I can't think of a spot besides Camp Half Blood, but that just looks like any other camp.
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Mm,
You would know more than
yeah,
me, but apparently it's a big deal. So we'll see.
it's
We'll see what
huge.
happens.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Let's talk about something else. Uh,
The things that you care about.
yeah. Let's talk about Doctor
Yeah.
Who. Being that this is the last, Disney Plus, of course, has aired the Doctor Who Christmas special, which is the first episode of. I put this under Janine's like stuff to talk about. No, I'm just talking about it. I'm sorry about that. This is the first episode fully featuring Ncuti Gatwa, and I don't know her name. The actress who plays Ruby Sunday.
Sorry, did you watch any of the new one? The
I have
Ncuti
not
Gatwa?
yet. I started watching The Real House of Beverly Hills, so I've been like on
Yes.
What?
I've been watching Beverly Hills, y'all. I'm so sorry. I'm almost done. I'm almost done with the season and I'm caught up. And then that is next on my list. I
Okay,
swear.
so-
Y'all will be getting texts from me this weekend.
Don't worry, you have plenty of time because
Is
my wife and I both
Ruby
screamed.
Sunday I'm sorry.
What? That's
Ruby
her. That's her.
Tuesday.
Ruby Tuesday is the
Ooh, that's a cute
restaurant.
name.
It's a restaurant.
Yeah, Ruby
Yeah.
Sunday is the character.
Is that
Because-
intentional?
No,
Probably.
Britain doesn't have. She was born on Sunday, and she
Yeah, but
was
that's.
named.
But
she
Ruby
wasn't
Tuesday is the
actually
Beatles
born on
lyric.
Sunday.
Oh no, she wasn't born on Sunday. I'm sorry.
Is the
Her
restaurant named after the
mother's
Beatles?
last name is Sunday.
Her
Her grandma's name is Cherry Sunday.
Yeah, the family is Sunday. That's yeah.
Whoa, why am I getting
What?
balloons?
That is content no one will understand, but there are balloons floating, digital balloons floating in Sarah's window. Anyway, my wife and I screamed because we realized we have till May, so you have plenty of time. There's no new episodes till May.
Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah, I haven't watched the Christmas special yet. So
Yeah, Janine, I know you have.
Yes.
Janine texted me and said, "Is the doctor allowed to be this hot?"
I know, right?
And my response
Ncuti
was,
Gatwa, man.
"Ooh." As I said to her, he's not doing anything hot. That's not what he's doing in this. He just is that hot.
He's playing at the doctor. He's playing it nerdy and funny, and
He was a
and
That's
Ken
our
doll
faves.
for Christ's sake, like in Barbie. Like of
yeah,
course
he's one of the
just,
Kens.
He's just hot.
He's
like,
so hot. He's so
I know.
hot, dude.
I know.
and people
I
are
know.
like,
Oh my gosh.
you know, I will say this.
And he's nerdy.
Yeah, everyone will say. Here's the
girl.
thing: people are
Atta
like, you know what? You won't be able to get him because he don't swing your way. But
What?
if you can get Ncuti,
He's
Listen, I can figure it out. I can figure it out, y'all. Just put me on. Just put me there. I can work my magic. You know what I mean?
Get
Like,
it, girl.
Just get me there, and we
Get
can
it.
figure it out.
you know.
I'm not saying I
I'm
can-
not. I've been pro homo here recently, but a Ncuti, I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, hey, look, the kids today are all poly anyway, so
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Good for them. Good for them,
So-
hon.
Exactly.
But what I will say is that this is a series that is for Janine has lots of bisexual frustration because there's two immensely hot people running around having adventures in this show. They're just
Yeah.
This
extraordinary.
season
hot
is
people.
gonna be a hoot in this household. Is
Yeah.
all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. So we have to wait till
Bisexual
May,
energy
but-
for sure.
Oh, all over the place. And the show has never been gayer, and I say that in a wonderfully positive way. It is Russell T Davies without any guardrails, if he ever had any anyway.
No.
But he has a budget now. I think that's the
Yeah,
difference.
yeah.
So it's been cool. Yeah, I really, the episode was fine. It's an introductory Christmas episode. You're talking 6 or 7 anyway. It's, softball, but he's great in the role. Janine, what'd you think?
Oh, I loved it. I got really into Doctor Who in like when Matt Smith first came on the scene. That was when I started watching it.
Yeah.
I started with Eccleston, went in, and then Capaldi came in, and I tried to hang, couldn't hang, dropped off, popped in for like a couple specials where David Tennant came back, and then I am back in. Like I am back in.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It's been a rough 10 years for Doctor Who fans. As much
It
as I
really
thought some Capaldi
has.
was really good, and I don't blame him at all. Jodie Whittaker's seasons are terrible, beyond an episode or two. So yeah, it's exciting.
That's what I've heard. I haven't watched a single one.
There has been talk, and I'm curious what you think about this, Dave. I don't think it's true. I think it would be too much of a hassle for Universal. But people are saying Doctor Who has no presence in any English theme park. And
there is an attraction in Cardiff.
not anymore. Closed.
Oh, is it? Did it close?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
just an experience.
Ah,
Yeah.
Universal could.
It
Not
works
if it's a
there.
kids park though.
I mean,
Not
if,
if it's a
if
kids
they
park.
did it, it would be like having Marvel in Florida. It would be like, hey Disney, look what we're doing. Big old finger. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know though. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
It's something that some people are kind of thinking about. And I think there might have been a time Matt Smith era where they were big enough in the States you could have done something here. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think that's the case. I think I don't think you're ever going to see a TV show that I can think of that has a land or anything, because the flexibility is too much. You need movies that are just kind of done and time tested, I think,
Yeah.
a little bit. So TV shows are weird that way. And this TV show's been on for 60 years. So, and there has been good moments and there has been bad moments. So
Yeah.
you don't necessarily can't, unless you're willing to make, where are we at? 15 plus a net 16. Yeah, unless you're willing to make 16 to 17 different animatronics. It's not a show you can really cover.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that is the news. We are going long this episode. I think it's because we just had all tons of sexy talk. But anyway, we are going
We're
now
taking
to,
our time. We're taking our time.
We're taking our time. It's called News Foreplay, y'all.
Whoa.
So we're getting into it now. It's getting hot and heavy for Bibbidi Bobbidi Sue.
Put them together, and what have you got? Bibbidi bobbidi.
All right, it's been a while since we had Bibbidi Bobbidi Sue, but we got some lawsuits. We had some lawsuits we didn't get to talk about last episode because we were going long, and Dave had an out, so we had to actually finish the episode. So one of those this was from the 11th of December. A lawsuit has been filed against Universal Orlando because a woman fell off the carousel and is suing them for that. So according to WFLA, the woman fell when dismounting a carousel beast on June 14th of 2022. So that's a grip and a half ago. According to the lawsuit, she sustained severe personal injuries that are permanent and continuing in nature, and the woman will suffer the losses and impairment in the future. She also said that, according to the suit, no signs warned of the possibility of falling.
What? Come on now.
So dumb.
This, I will say, is sus.
Two things. First of all, that ride's been there for 22 years, 23 years.
Forever.
24,
24.
1999, 24 years. Secondly, how long have carousels been around? Like 100 plus years?
Like,
And
come
there's nothing
on.
about these, like they're designed exactly.
It's
They
not
look funny, but
novel.
no, it's not. And they're not designed in a way that are any different in terms of getting on and off of them and as any other carousel in the world. And every other carousel has weird, different creatures and sculpts on them. This is not new. So this is super sus. This is somebody who did something dumb and slipped and fell. And of course, there's a huge thing of safety rules that probably say things like, it probably says, use caution when getting on and off, or it's like if you're going to stand next to your kids, because you're allowed to stand next to your kids if they're on the horse. This is dumb. This is an ambulance chaser. This is a stupid person who can't own up to their own fucking stupidity.
Well, let's just put it like this. I know it's a slightly different variation on the carousel, but the earliest kind of carousels, let's see, King Louis had one in 1662. So,
Yeah. So a couple hundred years, lady, catch up.
yeah. So, yeah.
Dumb.
Majorly sus. We have
Dumb.
another one that I think is actually more interesting, which is that former Epcot cast members are suing Disney and the Patina Group for being replaced with Italian representation. Two American former cast members were suing Disney, or they are suing Disney.
Shit.
Yes, what?
I
Yeah.
consulted my attorney husband on this one, and
Yes, attorney husband.
he doesn't do this kind of law, but he does think it's an interesting case because Disney says we already won. Someone sued us for not hiring him, and we won that. But it's different to fire someone
Yeah.
than it is to
Like,
not
why didn't
hire
they just?
someone.
Why
Well,
didn't they
I have
just?
a good friend who's an employment law attorney,
Oh, so you wanted to talk
like
to
a
him and you
rock
didn't think
star.
about
And I'm
it.
like, shit, I should have talked to her
Well,
about
you
this.
you got that next time. That's your assignment. I'm handing out homework.
I mean, why didn't they just shuffle these people to different positions? That's
Yeah,
what I
that's
don't
weird.
understand.
Perhaps because they were under the Patina group, and so they were under Patina's administration.
Oh, okay, right.
Um,
So then is that Disney's fault?
it depends on-
Yes.
It's a Morgan and Morgan lawsuit.
Well-
I
so-
was just about to say.
I mean, it's complicated by the fact that these are employees that used to be under their cultural exchange program or whatever it's called. So there's precedent for there being a certain ethnicity requirement because it was part of the overall cultural message of Epcot. But since
Yes.
pre-COVID, they haven't
no.
because the visa workers couldn't be here, but now they can.
Yeah. It's kind
I
of
don't
weird
know.
to have a job that's like you have to be French or something. Like that, like it's kind of
Right.
it's a weird sort of. I don't think there's a lot of. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's like
It's very
acting gigs.
unique.
Yeah, acting gigs you cannot get because you're too short or too tall. It's one of the few like you can be discriminated against, but it's sort of like I don't know, kind of part of the art form. Like so, it's hard to like say it's actually discrimination. But this is sort of a weird one because I've never been like, well, you're not French or you're not Italian, so you don't get a job. So yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
It's how do you entangle cultural authenticity versus from national origin?
Cultural representation program is, I think, what they call it, cultural representative program, which has been gone since pre-COVID and it came back last year in
Right.
2022.
Right.
I don't know. It's a weird one.
It's
I mean,
tough.
yeah.
I'm
I
curious
wonder-
why they were
The biggest-
fired. Like, I wonder if
Right.
there's other reasons like connected to this.
I don't think Disney is stupid enough to do something like this.
It feels to me like they could have like rearranged decks on the deck chairs and put them
Yeah.
elsewhere. And
Yeah.
they didn't do that, you know.
Or probably they just didn't want to be rearranged and saw
Yeah.
an opportunity.
Yeah, they might have
Yeah.
been. They might have been given a choice.
Which you
And-
know what? I love your hustle, babe. Keep doing it.
And then lastly, we have what seems to be a real life Tower of Terror situation over at Disney Springs. Apparently, in July of 2022. What's going on in like 2022? There's lots of that right now. There was a guy and his daughter were on an elevator in the orange garage. That's your first problem. Lime garage all the way, though I parked at both. Let's see here. And they say the elevator malfunctioned by dropping several feet suddenly and without warning, then stopping abruptly, forcing shaking and dropping again before ascending to the 5th floor of the parking garage. So I don't know how you ascend after falling. I don't know how elevators work. So
So I've been in an elevator when it does this. It's usually a control issue problem or something.
mhm.
That there's enough safeties in there that it's very, very rare for an elevator to fall enough to like slam you against the ceiling, right, or crash to the bottom.
It's
That
like-
is super rare.
It's like almost impossible. Yeah, you can't get like Mission Impossible and
What
like
I
get
would
your head
say is
squashed
if
anymore.
this guy is elderly and he has
Yes.
balance issues and
Sure.
it just like jostles him and he falls, like a fall can be very, very
Sure.
dangerous when you're
Yeah.
elderly.
Mhm.
Sure. The
Yeah.
thing that's sus to me though is that he's suing for $50,000 in compensatory damages. That doesn't cover a single hospital bill. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if it 50
Well,
grand,
you know what? I
That's
wonder
nothing.
if this is shitty legal reporting that we're seeing.
Uh,
Because a lot of times it'll say that like they're suing in excess of $50,000, but they
Oh.
only like because they check a box like, are you suing for more or less?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
He's
it
seeking
often-
over 50,000 in
It often
damages.
gets reported as they're seeking 50, but they actually could be seeking 500 million for all we
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
We
If
only
you
know
click
that
the
it's
source-
over 50.
I sent you if you click the source, which is from Click Orlando, they have the actual document. The whatever.
Yeah, this is an action for damages in
filing.
excess of $50,000. So that's
Okay,
legal
got it.
jargon to like get the right classification in the legal system of like, don't
Okay.
send us a small claims or whatever. This
Okay.
is-
And, you know, if it's poorly maintained and it did that and jostled and, you know, he got hurt, then good for him. Then
Sure.
go after it, because that's exactly what these kind of lawsuits are for. I just
was-
think making it sound like it drops multiple floors is so
Yeah.
rare. You know?
Yeah, I would assume it sounds like it actually went up more floors than it went down.
Yeah.
I would assume too that the elevator itself would have some data. I don't know how elevators work, but I would assume if it had a fault of some sort, maybe it logs it. I would imagine, but who knows? I don't know. Again, as I've mentioned already on this podcast, I do not know how elevators work. So, and with that, we're gonna go to the mailbag.
So mail someone a letter, even just a card will do. You know it's nice when the postman has a letter in a sack for you.
All right,
Sack.
Ooh.
Can I read this one? Because it's
Of
Joser.
course, it's from our friend Joser. Feel free, Dave. Read it.
Joser, we love you so much. Joser wrote in, and this is just classic Joser. Howdy, my royal rats.
Oh.
Firstly, my heart went out to Sarah, learning of her proto beau turning out to be a duplicitous hiding that red flag of his. Take your
I
time,
really do
love.
miss him, y'all.
He says, take your time, love. Someone that deserves to be in your whole presence as the woman you are is hopefully out there in the world, mayhaps even listening to the pod. Who knows? Until then, keep
Hopefully.
being the star-dusted, sparkling human that you are. Also, many congratulations on completing your master's, Mistress Sarah. I mean, come on.
Thank you. Thank
You-
you.
So sweet.
You would
I
want to
love you,
hug Joe.
Joser.
He's just a big teddy bear.
I'm
He's the
literally
sweetest
gonna
guy.
cry. You're amazing.
Second, yay, the podcast now has two of my things being talked about. Of course, one of them is Disney Parks. The other, surprise, is Doctor Who. There's only one other Who pod I subscribe to, and although it is dedicated only to the Time Lord, it's nice to get more of it in my feeds. Throwing my Elder Geek card on the table here, I've been watching Doctor Who since summer of 1982. Hell's Teeth, I learned how to knit summer 1984 because I wanted a Tom Baker scarf.
Yeah, I need one.
Me, a teenager living in Tampa Bay, Florida, when I was when was I ever going to even need a scarf, let alone one as big as the Doctor's? But I did it anyway, as I was totes dweeby nerd who had a scant number of friends. Aw. So I was already uncool. Why not increase my ability of not getting any dates while in high school, right?
I mean, you didn't
As
have
an
to say
aside-
any of that. You said you were watching Doctor Who in 1982. We surmised the rest of it.
We got all of that.
Yeah.
We got all of that. As an aside, should anyone on the Council of Rats have questions about Doctor Who, whether it be classic series 1963 to 1989 or New Who 2005 forward, please ring me up or email me or DM me or whatever the kids are calling it these days. So he will be if we have any questions, he'll be our expert. Third, Maryland, are you okay, girl? That certainly was a choice for a state Christmas song. That cracked me up. I listened to it on the drive home last night.
It's a bop. It's a bop.
It's a bop. It's a bop. He says, I will have to say that it certainly sounds like something from the mines behind South Park. May y'all have a rat-tacular winter season. Wishing you all happy hydrolators, Joser.
Oh, thank you, Joser.
I love you, Joser.
Yeah, weirdly enough, that song was from like 1982. It's just been like around Baltimore.
It's bonkers.
It's like it's just a song that's around, but it's like so underground. I thought I'll throw it on the pod. No, I won't get in trouble. Who knows? As for Doctor Who, let's see here. Dave, how long have you watched a lot of Doctor Who? I don't think I've ever. You're in so many other nerd realms.
So I didn't watch it back in the 80s. I remember seeing it on like PBS and thinking it looked old and corny, so I avoided it. The Christopher Eccleston 2005 version is kind of what got me back into it, because I was like, what is this? And then my husband Jason has watched it since all the old ones, like as a kid and as a teenager, so he's kept me aware of it. I didn't follow up on it until the Don't Blink episode. And that was the entry point where my husband was like, okay, you need to watch the show. Watch this one and you will understand why you need to watch it. And I will tell anyone out there, if you're curious about what Doctor Who can do or what it's about, watch Don't Blink.
Yeah, I think it's just called Blink.
It's just called Blink, excuse me. It is
It's called Blink.
It's called Blink. It is, first of all, terrifying.
Yep.
Terrifying piece of television.
Yep.
But also really cool, and it gives you an exact idea of who the Doctor is and what his purview is on the universe. It's
Starring
really
a young Carey Mulligan. in
Carey
that
Mulligan,
episode.
right.
A one episode.
And it's a standalone episode. You
Yep.
don't need to know anything about who before or after that. That is the one where I went, okay, now I have to back up and watch all of them because I really loved it. And I have since tried to keep up.
Yeah. For my full history, it's let's see here. In college, I found the DVDs of Eccleston. Maybe it was like Tenet season 2 or 3, and then I went back. I'm not sure. In the library, my local library, and so I got really into it. Then bought all the DVDs of the new series, and then sold all the DVDs because that's what you do. Now I have them digitally, and I am kind of not new to old Doctor Who, but I just finished this week actually. I went through and I have omnibused is what they call it because I've done it with a couple episodes. So if you know old Doctor Who, it's like 4 to 6 episodes for one story, and they're like 20 minutes, and you're getting about 2 minutes of repeat material plus, that includes like the end credits for each of those. It gets kind of and it's already a little long. I've omnibused every single episode from the second Doctor to the 7th. Well, all the second Doctor that had the majority episodes being live. That's another thing. Don't worry about it, listeners who don't know.
We should have Joe on.
Yeah, we'll have a Doctor Who episode. Yeah,
and do a Doctor Who episode spitballing of what would a Doctor Who theme park or land or attraction.
I would love that. That sounds like a great.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
be a ton of fun.
Joe,
we're gonna call you.
Yeah, and that sounds great. Because now I'm watching them. Now that I've edited them all, I just got through the 4th. I'm entering the 5th. I don't get Tegan. Oh, Adric just died. So that's where I'm at currently.
Okay.
And then I might go back and hit 2 and 3. And if I was going to say this earlier, if anybody thinks that Shooty is the first stylish Doctor, you need to check out John Pertwee because that man,
he's dapper as fuck.
Yeah, and he does kung fu. So, the 70s. Yeah. Anyway, that gets us to a Studer Computer and the Haikuter.
That's why I'm a router for me computer. Everybody needs a friend. What?
Oh, a Studer Computer, we love you so much. Happy New Year to you, a Studer. A computer, let's see. Could you write a haiku about... what about Jozer's email? Just write a haiku about Jozer's email. All right, let's see what you can come up with. Oh, hold on. Come on. No, give me the whole thing. No, come on now. You can do it. Not that you gotta print it out first.
He has a glitch.
Honey.
He's a, it's the millennial bug. It's catching up on him. We're getting the new year.
Oh, it's YouTube.
Oh no.
We need a hard reboot. We need to do that.
Right,
Control Alt Delete. Bong.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I think I've worked it out.
Okay.
Let's see. What do you got? Let's see if you got one on Jozer's email. All right. Let's see. Royal Rats Unite. Sarah's heart finds strength anew. Podcast joy takes flight. I mean, if that doesn't take you into 2024, I don't know what will.
Beautiful.
Is a good one.
That was a good one.
As we conclude here, though, I want one more. I think it's been a long episode, but we've had a little behind the scenes. We're doing this one a little earlier, so I think we felt a little less tired. Let's talk about theme park hopes for 2024. Does anyone have any theme park hopes? Hopes that you hold in your heart for the industry in 2024?
I hope Disney really rethinks their entire software, Genie Plus, reservation, all of that bullshit.
Amen.
I think I just think the barrier to entry is too high.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, my hopes is that for Disney to take Epic Universe a little bit more seriously and starts giving us some new projects, some actual things, not some, blue sky concepts. That's my big hope.
Janine, any big hopes?
I got nothing to add. Dave and Sarah nailed it. Those were the
I have one other one, and this is more about fandom. I would request to everyone out there, amplify the celebratory voices, ignore the clickbait
Yes.
shitheads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're never going to solve that problem on the internet
Yeah.
unless you just stop fucking sharing things. Like
Do not go to Inside the Magic. Let's just put it
the
that
That
way.
too.
rage bait people, the ones who
It's
are
so
complaining about
exhausting.
it's just exhausting. So I find the joyous voices. Now, criticism is not, I'm not saying don't criticize things. I'm saying be surgical
Mhm.
about how and why and what you criticize. This should be the Algonquin roundtable of theme park discussion, not fucking National Enquirer, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so be selective about what you talk about and how you talk about it and what you share, and amplify the voices that are giving us joy, which is what these places are supposed to be fucking doing.
Yeah. I think that's great. Let's see, hopes. I just hope for more Epic Universe stuff. Like, I'm just excited for the preview center that's rumored, and I'm just excited. And Dave's seen stuff that he can't tell me about, and
I
I'm
can't
very
say a
annoyed.
word, but y'all,
That's like gonna feed
you're
me all
not
year.
ready.
That
You are
is
not
keeping me
fucking
going.
ready.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
take out and get him like I'm just gonna take Dave out, get him super drunk, super fast, just so I can have like Dave. So what's going on with fatigue?
I seen a lot of shit for that park, and people are
I'm gonna
just not
steal his
fucking
phone
ready.
and run.
They're not ready. They're
I'm
not
so
ready.
excited. I'm so excited.
And not just the lands and the attractions. We know a lot about those. It's the
Mhm.
connective glue about the park and the park's
Oh, yeah.
identity and the center land, because you ain't seen shit about that yet.
Yeah.
And trust me,
Oh.
you are not ready.
All you need to see is Bio reconstructs helicopter photos of the land gates, like the transitional points.
Yeah, they're so great.
And you're like, holy shit. Like, it's stuff you have
Yeah.
not seen. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so wonderful.
Bio
like the-
Reconstruct on Twitter is
Yeah,
one
follow
of the
Bio
most
Re- Bio-
incredible assets in the community.
stand.
And he just
We stand.
Really.
does it. Like, he just
Yep.
spends his own money as
Yeah.
a hobby to
Yeah,
provide
we stand.
wild content for us.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
oh,
My other
Love
hope for the
him.
year, theme park wise, is I'm going to go to California. See you, Sarah and Dave. And
Yes.
do a park.
Come
Yes,
through.
we gon' drink.
Yeah. You know
We
what?
are.
I've never been to Knott's either. So I know. I'm not a California boy.
gotta send me your
Dude.
dates.
What time of
Nathan.
year? What time of
All
year
right.
will you be coming?
Let me put it like this. I have now I got to see when Katie can join, but her schedule's a little tighter than mine. We have like opened standby for the year because her dad used to work for the airline. So as long as my school schedule works I can come whenever, basically. As long as I
We'll
can
expect you in the summer.
if I can get from Baltimore to Chicago and then Chicago to LA, then I should be good to go. So it's just making
All
2
right.
flights, and as long as the standby looks good, generally it's off-season times is the best time
Okay.
to do it. But
Because there's so many different festivals to come out for. There's the Boysenberry one, there's a Peanuts one first, and then there's the Boysenberry one, and there's the summer one, and then there's
it's the
Haunt,
boys,
and then there's
it's
Christmas.
boysenberry.
It has to be boysenberry.
It
The
has to be
Boysenberry one is
boysenberry.
so much fun. It's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got to be. It's got to be. So we'll
Cool.
see. We're gonna try. We're gonna make it work. I mean, my big plans were Tokyo. I don't think that's gonna happen. I moved. I broke. But I can come see you guys in LA. So
Yay.
all right. With that, we're gonna wrap up here. Don't forget, you can go to bit.ly/ratcastle. Ratcastle. Yeah. You can do that. That's a site. You can go to bit.ly/Rat Pride if you want to go to our shirts, Pride shirts, which all the money goes to the Trevor Project. And you can go to bit.ly/Ratcastle for everything else. And it's produced by this thing. It's produced by me, yours truly, Nathan Hartman. Subscribe, tell your friends, give us 5-star reviews, more mail. We love it. We love mail. And hopefully we'll be doing some more stuff the next year. We're talking behind the scenes. We'll see. We're going to try to up our game a little bit. Maybe we'll do
The
some
rats
fun stuff.
are scheming.
Yeah, we're scheming. So that's something. So now grab your belongings. Have a happy new year.
Happy New
and
Year.
Exit to the left.
Will you stop this foolishness?
What foolishness would you like to see?
Will you get out of here?